All right, so we're missing our Vice President, Matt Hook. Don't know where he is scheduled to come today. Might be stopping in around 7 o'clock. I guess we could just get started introducing ourselves, the officers in the room. We can start from this side and go all the way down. This is Matt Maggio. Please tell me what you do.
I'm Matt Maggio. I'm the secretary. I take notes and I do other cool stuff sometimes.
All right. Eric, please tell me what you do and who you are.
I'm the advisor. I'm not supposed to do anything, but I help out.
Taylor?
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm the event manager.
Yeah.
Just that.
I'm Victoria. I'm the external affairs and co-treasurer.
All right, Eugene, who are you and what you do for the club position-wise?
I'm a treasurer, and I deal with all, I deal with pretty much like all the money stuff that's included in the club, like paying for stuff, getting quotes. I work with Victoria right here. She's a great person. She actually pretty much does a lot of things, but so yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm the treasurer, and yeah.
Perfect. So let's get on into the meeting. So starting with Generations Collide and how it went, there's a lot that happened during the course of that, good and bad. So I guess we want to just talk about it and see what we can do for next year to either improve or do differently. So I guess we can start with people's inputs on this. Does anybody have anything to start with for pros? Taylor.
We had those awesome three, what were they, the non-rack rods, but
Yeah, those are the classic roadsters.
show.
Those were amazing. And I mean, I personally think that everybody who, worked at the event and came, everybody was really friendly, really nice. There were no general confrontations, conflicts, or anything that I really came up that were major in terms of people. So that's always a great thing. Eugene, you were
I
gonna say
was
something?
just gonna say, the gaming station was a big success. this
Absolutely.
year. I think like a lot of people liked just trying something different the first time, and I think we should implement that next year as well, or in future events too. So
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And shout out to everybody who was involved with that.
Shout out to Kenji who's also not.
Yeah, that was very big.
It's on his
thing.
way. I'll be here in a couple minutes.
So another thing that I thought we did good too were the raffles and auctions. Blew me out of the water. Didn't think we were gonna do that creative sales, and
We made, I believe we made about $700 on silent auctions and raffle items.
yeah,
Just on that, so.
that is a great chunk of change that we can use for either saving for the next Generation Collide show, which is gonna be more than what it was this year, for sure, at least double. Sponsor help from All Red. We have,
That, well, he's gonna be a huge help next year. Because
yeah, who is he?
So he was the one with the blue something or other, one of the blue plastics that was in the middle row that was next to, I think, Steven.
Was it that
And
classic T, the Ford?
Yeah, it was, the Ford. So he is the, I guess, the runner of the blue states.
Yep, okay.
And so he has all the connections with the people who got the plastic cars and everything like that. But not only that, like, he gets his like t-shirts and stuff and goodie bags for free because he gets sponsors to pay for them. So he's gonna be a really big asset for us to get those t-shirts for free and help get the goodie bags so we can spend more time spending money on other stuff that'll boost it.
And we have his contact, yes, awesome, so yeah, make sure that that's down.
Yeah.
Another
thing that went good, I just wanted to say,
Yeah, let's hear it.
we had great staff. Everybody was working, and I think we had enough people to help. There were times we could have probably used one or two more to be able to give people a break. Like I know Cooper was outside working the VIP door for like hours at a time, and that can be a really boring job.
Absolutely.
But we didn't have any like conflicts and people who were not doing their jobs
Yeah.
when they were assigned to do stuff.
Yeah,
So-
so cooperative.
We did really good on setup and takedown. Yeah, I mean, I think we got out of there in record time from closing the show at 6 o'clock how long did it take? An hour for us to?
Absolutely, that was a really nice setup went smooth, takedown went smooth, we didn't have any issues with that necessarily. I mean, there were a few quirks here and there, getting people down that ramp was a little bit more difficult than we thought it was gonna be originally.
We need to get wood next.
Yeah, so people can just go straight down that, I absolutely agree. Another thing, I think we should have more walkie-talkies next year.
Yeah.
So that every single position group has walkie-talkies so we can all communicate. I really think we need to have a group meeting where everybody, I'm talking everybody gets together, everybody who's helping out with the actual event, gets there, gets information, gets the meeting done, and we can all be on the same page. What are you gonna say? Were you gonna say anything? All right.
If you want to go and order more radios, like we can put that on the next event
Yep.
request, if you want to get like 3 more.
Chuck that on there somewhere. Yeah, Eugene.
Also, like, I think this is like a comment, I guess, but, like turning off the cars before leaving, because when it starts selling small cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a lot of people follow those directions.
Yeah, so we need to be more abrupt about that. Another thing though, which kind of made that okay-ish is Beasley Coliseum does have actual like vents that suck in all of the gases out of the entire Coliseum, which is why you felt it, you know, it was really warm during the event, but when the event ended, it just got super cold because they opened the vents and that released all the exhaust gases.
Another thing, is making sure we don't, like, when we are putting VIP cars in, we have to make sure that we're sticking to a time of only VIPs and not letting anybody in early. Because that's something we struggled with, is we put a couple people in, and then we were running out of spots.
So
So
yeah, agreed.
that's something we have
So
to
I do think we need to bring up that timeline a little bit more to verify, and I think we need to verify people's spots so we don't run out, because it did get really close. We had to start cutting off people who were trying to get into the floor, but, you know, didn't show up in time and we were running out of spots. We wanted to make sure that all the VIP people got in. We did cut it really close. The people from Tri-Cities who did come were kind of late, so that kind of set us back too, because that, you know,
Yeah,
It-
spots and
we struggled for parking them, we struggled for saving spots, couldn't park everybody together, so I'm not saying we should make sure that, you know, they don't come in, but we need to make sure that people are on time and we have to stick to our cutoff.
Well, and I think for them, I think for them, it'll be easier, because I think this was their first time, like, trailing their car this far.
Yeah.
So now that they've had experience, they'll probably they'll understand how early they need to, like, leave. Because I think that was Richie's biggest thing, is like, that now they'll understand, like, it's not just.
They also ran into problems. They
Yeah.
were planning on being there earlier and then oops.
Yeah, I
Things
mean,
go wrong.
things happen, we're not targeting anybody, but we need to, I guess, for next event, make sure that the timeline is followed. Eugene?
I feel like you could just push the time back, like an hour, probably help everyone else is driving.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is, so.
So, I mean, it is a big car show and, you know, things do happen, you know, you can get a flat on the side of the road that makes you show up late. But, I mean, it is still always a possibility to, I guess, account for those. But then again, we are a club and we can make accommodations to anything that does come our way, in terms of, you know, a wild card like that. And like you said, I do think we should make it, kind of like a gray area. Like, we can have a cutoff, a gray area, and then a no more kind of thing. That gray area can last an hour. Kind of like a grace period, a final grace period that says, hey, if you're not here, you know, this is the last time, this is like last call, you know. Does anybody have any other pros or cons?
I just want to say, like, I brought my parents to the car show. They were in town for the weekend. They're not really car people, but they absolutely loved the show.
Was it mostly venue?
Yeah, it was like the location and the variety. They really they both said like having such a cool variety of having classics and modern cars really, really added to the show, because it gave a lot of interesting things to look at. Different people to talk to, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So I have 2 cons. First con is that a lot of people dipped out when they said they'd show up, specifically from AE, specifically a couple other vendors.
Yep.
And then other people who were supposed to be in open meeting, I think we had multiple people, and like one guy engaged and stuff like that.
Yep.
And number 2, what was I gonna say? Oh, I can't even, oh, yes, we could have parked probably 2, 3, 4 more cars in the downstairs area if we plan to parking a little better. So me and Taylor and Eric all assume that, and all assume that like, okay, we'll just give like the same spot area per car, everyone gets the same spot area, and that doesn't matter. Well, if we, those spots fit the trucks really well, but like, all the Model A's and Model T's,
There's a lot
like
of.
we could have put 2 Model A's and Model T's in each spot, almost.
I think
There was so much room.
with the parking too is what Jim suggested is for, instead of doing the, like that middle row or those 2 rows straight, is you just angle everybody and that'll get you more cars in.
Well, the
That
thing
wouldn't
was,
save us anything in the middle.
it would have, out in the middle, it would have hurt us a lot. We did some calculations and we figured out that we had to park everyone straight in the middle. Because otherwise it would have A, either been impossible to park people in the middle, or B, we would have ran out of spots. I think we would have been like 2 spots short or something. We would only be able to park 48. So,
So
that's
really,
the way it is.
yeah, really the biggest thing with parking next year is tightening up those spaces so that there's, I mean, it's nice to be able to walk through, you know, the roads, look at people's cars, you know, check out all the stuff they've done to theirs, but at the same time, it's really nice to get as many people as we can on that floor. Not only for, you know, us as a club, we want to get more people there, but for everybody else, you know, who are on the cusp of being able to come in and, you know, having the last person, it's just nicer for everybody to get as many cars as you can on there. You got a question or concern, you have a comment?
So, the one thing I can see is, obviously we have some Idaho people here, and if this spreads to Idaho next year and we get more people coming, the only thing I could really see happening is what happens if we run out of space totally in the Coliseum. Will we move it outside? Or?
Yeah, so one of the things we talked about was the lot where you check in.
Okay.
We were originally gonna use that as an overflow for a second kind of car show area. With that, we were gonna charge people, you know, that $10 for open or, you know, whatever, to be able to come there and park your car there, and we would have it segregated, so it is a car show, and it's still a showing area. And there's, you know, a good amount of high flow traffic because people park in the yellow lot, come back to the Beasley Coliseum, they can walk through all those cars, and I mean, it's just another option in case we do overflow the Coliseum, because there's not as many spots necessarily as we thought up top. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like we filled up quick, and those doors that Beasley said we could park in front of, the fire marshal said that was absolutely no go.
Well, and the thing with that also is Beasley, Ronnie figured this out too. Russ said if you cover up the exit signs, you can park cars there. So that's something that we have to be aware of.
That's
Yeah.
why the fire marshal said no, because
Yeah.
they look like active exits. They would need to put a drape up by those doors and cover the exit sign.
Yeah, along with that, they said the doors also need to be chain locked to make sure it's a verified non-exit.
And then with yours too, for next year, we're planning on having it somewhere in the beginning of September, which means it'll be warmer. Therefore, we can have the meet outside as well. And like it was raining and so people weren't gonna want to do
Victoria,
that. So
what's his face, the guy with the blue car they were talking about earlier? He told us that our timing was almost perfect, because there's a bunch of other meets around that time, and we need to be competing with those bigger meets.
and
That's
that's,
not good for us being this far.
And
So our timing was almost perfect. If we moved it back a week, that would be better, but a month
but that
is gonna be really pushing it.
But that's what we have to figure out is
Yes.
because we have to figure out the car clubs that are doing around those ones. But having it in October is really hard if we want outside.
Yeah,
And
Especially,
there were people who like didn't come because of the rain.
You just have to be careful because we don't want to step on the bigger guys' toes because they will crush us. Right, if like that group with the hot rods that came in, if they're gonna choose between the bigger meet like in Spokane and our meet, you know, unfortunately, they're probably gonna choose the bigger meet. So then we wouldn't get those cool kind of cars, but we only got them in because there's no other competition.
what's going on here?
So we've got a couple comments on the live stream so far, and they wanted to say that they didn't see any flyers out and that they thought that marketing was
Yeah,
low.
that's something cons.
So if you want to talk about that at all, if people concerned about marketing for it. And then the second item to add to that is that the guy with the blue 30 Chevy, Steve is what they're saying his name is, said that $30 was an expensive price compared to larger venues. But, you know, with the price of Beasley being as expensive as it is, he understands that you have to charge like that.
Yeah.
So those are the two things, if you guys want to talk about that. for a little
$30 for VIP or $30 for open?
bit. 30 for VIP.
So, I mean, I personally think that price is,
I'd like to
Fair.
stay at that price.
That's as low as we could go.
But
And
Until we lower the ship
that's like,
prices.
the only reason we were able to drop to that price is because we got so much of our costs offset by the issue.
so you're gonna have a question over there?
That's a comment and a question. I just want to say too, that being someone who's not part of this section of AEC, the show was very well put on. I mean, that was an amazing show. I know that we both had a blast. Everyone I talked to was having a great time. I mean, I said this to Logan too, but it was an amazing show.
Yeah.
And the second would be that upper floor. I know me and Derek were walking around and we're not sure if our trucks could necessarily,
Yeah. and that's-
especially fit between some of those corners. So I'd
Yeah.
say maybe,
So I drove mine through there when we unloaded, and it was a tight fit. So with mine's just a Silverado, so it's not too big. I mean, it will fit, and usually the corners have the garbage cans right there. So I think too, if we can move the garbage cans out of the way, you'll leave a little bit more room. But it was a tight fit and it was a little scary, but I did not spray paint.
okay, I was just saying,
Yeah.
maybe people have more stance trucks, maybe a warning of like, we might not be able to fit your truck upstairs.
Yeah.
So we had planned a little bit for that, and those larger crazy vehicles, they would need to go outside in the parking lot out there, and that's kind of what the initial.
Or
plan
downstairs, I don't think we had any problems with,
No, yeah.
Driving straight in, if you guys are early enough.
Your car's already not gonna be able to make it over that, like, that angle there.
Maybe pretty easily.
Yeah.
I guess
I couldn't.
does anybody have anything else to kind of wrap up, comments or concerns?
I have a pro and a con.
Yes.
I really, I don't know if you addressed this because I was out for the first couple minutes, I really liked 4 hours.
That's a good
I know
idea,
usually
yeah.
we said 6, but I felt like 4 was short enough, I didn't get bored, but long enough to like be able to appreciate everything that was going on.
Very creativity.
Do you think that detracts at all from people who are coming from far out of town for a 4-hour event?
No, absolutely not. I think the longer it is, the better.
Yeah, because a lot of those guys did come in. There's one guy that, the cougar got her right away and like had his backpack with him. He had time to hang out, he had to talk to people, he was reading a newspaper.
What did the people from Tri-City say about it? Because they were the ones that showed up the latest and.
They said that they had heard there was people who wanted to leave and were frustrated they couldn't move their cars.
Yeah. There was Eric Adamson was upset. He was like, at 5 o'clock, he came up to me, he's like, can I leave? And I was like, no, this show is part of the deal.
Well, and that's part of the thing, maybe you just need to advertise more that if you're gonna pay for VIP, you are leaving your car there.
Some people are
There's
confused
no-
about they could leave.
There's
Yeah,
no-
that's one thing that we did error on, was not getting those event details out the second we made the event itself.
They were in the comments, the event, if you actually like.
Yeah, but I think we need to make sure
That's
that's.
work that people have to do.
No,
Yeah.
that
Really
the
overestimated
thing
our
is
crowd.
with that, it's not necessarily clear to people. I think on our website, there should be an event list, event details, requirements from the actual user. To kind of go about and make sure that that's something they can do in terms of putting their car in for that period of time.
Yeah.
Like, do you agree to these terms?
Exactly, something like that. You had a con one of those?
Yeah, and then I found the second one, but the first one, when the fire marshal came in, it seemed to be a big stress point.
Yeah.
So I heard that Logan being there kind of alleviated it because he was maybe like saying, no, these cars, blah,
They
blah,
have
blah,
kill
blah.
switches was the biggest.
Yeah.
Which, how do you
Yeah.
control for that? I don't know, so. just
Well, and I
something
think
to
that was, I think part of that was, that we'll know for next time is that we had no idea the fire marshal was actually gonna come.
Yeah, we didn't think that
physically
was a
check
thing.
every car.
So that did kind of freak us out
Come to
too.
any of our events.
He does, and he
Yeah.
probably will continue. And then just a second thing, I know this is totally out of anybody's control, but, concessions opened early and closed early. which
Yeah,
is-
that was,
Yeah, they closed like an hour and 15 minutes before the
Right,
show.
and I was super
And they opened
frustrated.
it up.
And they told me that was gonna happen, but I think they were already very hesitant on opening concessions in the first place, so I think this is the reason why. But I think something that we have to think about next year is if we actually want to open concessions.
I
Because-
personally liked it.
I liked
According
it too.
to,
There's a lot of
but
other people that
according
like
to the invoice, I think part of that staff pricing is for concessions.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Free staff.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
And
is
that's- yeah,
that the
yeah.
concessions price changed. Our pre-concessions quote was 1,000. Our post-concessions quote was 1,200. So they're telling us that it only costs them $200 to open up concessions. Clearly, they were very far off on that number. And having concessions open from 12 to 2 is a horrible idea. The only people inside the building at that point are people who are either participating in the show or working the show. No spectators.
So I think for next time, we just need to make sure that we go over that and decide what's best. Second one, alright,
Another comment online, someone says, if there's a possibility of opening the floor early in the morning for spectators, it might fit better with some other people's schedules. I don't think that that's a great idea, because we have cars moving in and out, and we don't want a lot of people walking around during
was
that
it not
time.
open for spectators?
No, we opened the doors at 2 PM for spectators. Everyone who was coming in before that was either working or participating in the event.
Yeah,
I think we
And I
need
think
to
that
keep
was,
it like that.
that's what helped relieve Beasley's stress and liability, is
Yes.
having them spectators not be able to be there
Yeah.
on the concourse or in VIP until 2 when we were done and set with everybody's
It's
stuff.
kind of a liability issue too. We can go about saying, more people equals more potential of getting hit, especially when we're packing the concourse. As we really don't have the ability to pack a lot of people up there when we're moving, if you guys wanted to put your big trucks there, we would have a lot of issues with squeezing people, tents, vendors, everything.
Another thing, I don't know if this is like beyond everyone's control or not, but I think, it would have been nicer to have people, like at least in my area, I don't know about your history, because it wasn't there until like 2 o'clock, I'm still getting busy before. But, it would have been nicer to have, like a steadier flow of staff on the bottom, because sometimes I'd be like parking cars and I'd look around and I was like, the only one there. I was like, where did everyone go? I have no idea where everyone went. I don't know when they're returning. I don't know who I'm gonna get back. And it just like freaked me out a couple
This could
times.
be alleviated with more radios.
Yeah, more radios and
More radios and
bigger
maybe
teams.
a steadier staff, like instead of floaters, we didn't really need floaters. But people who thought they were floaters or thought they could float floated and
What
floated
did you
away
guys
from me,
need
or
to
floated
do
towards me, and then I have like way too many people.
It's
Like, what were you guys responsible for after
nothing.
2?
Nobody on the floor is
Exactly.
responsible for it.
So after
It's
2 was fine,
just
but before 2, like 8 to 2, when I was like parking cars, and like, for example, when there'd be like a huge rush of cars, right? And I needed someone to stop everyone from trying to come down these ramps that I knew they were too low for. I couldn't do that and park the guy that I was parking currently who was about to back up.
I really don't think that's the amount of staff. I think that's just communication.
Yeah, I see this all solved with more radios. Let's move on.
All right.
I want to go back to marketing real quick before we get
Absolutely.
off of GC for everything. We need to get on the ball a lot earlier on marketing.
Yeah, in summer.
We're talking like, I think we should have flyers made 3 months in advance and have them printed probably 3 months in advance and handed out to various people. And we need to print a lot more than we did because we burned through our entire staff.
No, we have a lot
Way
left.
extras.
We have tons left.
Well, and the other thing with that, I can't remember his name, so I keep calling him by his last name, but Art had said that having,
Steve,
is that his name?
Steve all
Yeah, Steve, having him, having flyers 4 to 5 months in advance.
I think,
And
that means-
with the marketing,
That
though,
means flyers as soon as school starts.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I think
The
when
problem
school
is-
ends, we should have flyers
Well,
ready to push
And
the
Then
buttons.
you better be working on that because remember, ASWSU and SEB break for the summer and they don't hold finance meetings. So we're SOL and getting money until the second week of school,
and
just so you know that.
marketing too, we also need to make sure we're implementing the, like the one place in like Colfax, Pullman, Moscow, that the older people who do not have technology or does not understand it or whatever, can go sign up and register.
We're talking about that.
Yeah. Right.
Moving on.
So we
Are
have
we
to make
leaving
sure
GC?
those are-
We're leaving GC. Anybody have last comments, concerns? Yeah.
How do you guys think the flow of hurting people on the floor went? Was it a good pace of cars or?
It was, when we had people, like what I said, like, if it was me, Logan, and down there, and sometimes maybe like one other person, it went great. If it was just me, it was a little much, because I couldn't like stop people from coming in or like tell them to like wait, especially if they had lower cars, because they need to come down that one specific ramp, and they try to come down themselves, and I also saw guys like really bite it, and I was like, ugh.
So we had that guy at the VIP entrance
Yeah.
And we should get him on a
Yeah,
radio.
yeah,
So you
Cooper,
will, yo, Cooper, stop letting people in.
Yeah, we could do that.
Do you think we should push back and narrow the time where we open the doors at Beasley and we stop letting people?
No, it's really good to have that open time so that there's not a flood.
Again, it would have been fine if I had more communication or another person.
So literally, to finish it, it's communication issues, and we can work better on that. So paying for GC, cost overview, paying for Beasley, where are we at with total costs generated from events / how much?
I have no
Okay.
idea. Logan's bringing the cash box when he gets here, so, but there was like, I think $1,000 in the cash box, so, and I think that we had around 300 or 400 left.
337 is the number I seem to remember.
From the car wash.
Perfect. So I guess what I kind of want to talk about right now is paying for Beasley and what we're gonna do with that.
So,
You two guys, how are we gonna go about that?
so we don't have to do anything.
So it's already taken care of?
So, Beasley sent us the invoice.
And do we just forward that to
So I've
ASWC?
already forwarded to ASWC Senate, and ASWC Senate will take care of it through an IRI.
Perfect.
And then I am hoping that they will give us a receipt, and I also forwarded ASWC Senate the actual contract in case there were any discrepancies in here. There's not, but they might get confused with the $2,300 quote that they gave us
Yeah,
after the
that
fact.
freaks me out too.
So that's the other thing that we have to keep in mind for next year, is that we have to account for $2,500 to $3,000 next year for Beasley instead of the $1,200 that we do.
Maybe we need to talk to Russ more and tell him not to put as many staff members.
We didn't need two custodians sweeping the concourse the entire time.
And, but honestly, I don't think we can change that. I
No.
think that's how they
Yeah,
rack up
so-
their money.
Truthfully, we need to go about that and be able to plan for that, because that's the cost they want to charge us. They know what the event's gonna look like now, and they're not gonna go any cheaper on that.
Just
That's
realize
what
that next year, you're gonna be paying between $2,500 and $3,000 for the same space in the same time frame.
So we're gonna have to work on price.
And we can move it too.
I think having it in Beasley is a
Yeah,
iconic, big thing.
I think we do it at Beasley or we don't at all.
We posted in RCS afterwards, and people were like, holy crap, what is this? Why did I not hear about it?
What's ours?
Rincey Suits,
Oh.
huge group.
Yeah,
thousands of members.
yeah.
All right, so let's get back on track. Anything else we need to pay for with Beasley before we go on to reimbursements?
We don't have to pay anything for Beasley, but we have to pay
T-shirts.
for shirts.
Yeah, so how are we gonna go about
We
that?
have to figure out, because we have, how much money in that account? So.
So we need to add money to that account.
Yep, and then we need to, so we can probably add the PayPal money into the account, and then, or the PayPal Square money, and then we can take the 565 from there.
Fantastic, let's do that. That sounds perfect. Reimbursements for GC, guess we can go from the top, start down. Brady for one canopy got damaged, leg got ruined. We owe him a new canopy.
It blew away in the wind.
Yeah, so I mean, there's nothing we could have done about that besides,
The canopy at check-in
yeah.
literally flew out like 10 feet in the air, came down on the other side, right on a leg, and just bent the leg entirely.
Luckily, it went straight to the
Who's
street.
canopy?
Luckily, there were no cars.
Who's canopy?
Brace,
Brady's
Wait, so-
canopies.
right there.
Do we not like sandbags for that, or?
We didn't have sandbags on it yet. We had to use like traffic cone things to hold the legs down, and one of the legs slipped out, and that's when it took off.
Yeah.
Because the wind was pretty bad outside.
Do we know how much?
We don't, we should look up prices for canopies and get in touch with Brady. We need my roommate to talk to him. Matt Hogue for Craftsman Wrenches, I wish he was here to talk about it. We'll bring it up when he gets back here. He's getting an invoice and receipt for that. Nobody knows where the tools went, they just kind of got lost.
And
I say we buy his tools and we get some for AEC as well. Because we're gonna continue to need these at events, and it's best not to have to borrow other people's break.
And I
Yep.
have contacted Russ. He didn't email me back today to see if they found it. I gave them, you guys said something about like an electrical box or something. Maybe a gray box down on the floor of where somebody said that might be where it was. It might be Matt and Logan's conversation. So I had him look there, and I had him look like around the floor to see if they were there. So I'm waiting for a response from him on that.
Okay, perfect. I have no idea what the heck happened with that, so. Yeah, Matt Hogue's gonna bring us a receipt for how much these wrenches cost. He went out and bought some today, so buying Matt Hoke's tools from him, probably not gonna work. Unless he is okay with that.
That's not what I'm saying. So we just get our own off Amazon or whatever.
We need to get, Costco has $100 for this really nice tool case. I have one. We should invest in that. Neiman Reynolds paid VIP but didn't get his car because it was broken, reimbursed. Simple as that.
He's already been reimbursed?
No.
No, it needs to be reimbursed. So if you, because he
the
paid for it, his car broke and didn't actually get in the show. I don't
He
see.
got a goodie bag out of it.
Okay, then we take off $10. Say, hey, sorry
I
about
think
that.
he deserves, I mean, he said to keep it for the club, but I just feel like that's not right to keep that even because he couldn't make it.
No, even, I mean, I'm not going off per person, but I mean, we should reimburse him a little bit then.
I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of clubs that like, if you don't show up to your event and you still pay for a spot, you don't.
Yeah, but
See,
that's
that's the
an
way it-
asshole of the club.
the thing is,
It's not, it's not grassroots stuff, it's like, it's a lot,
It's a dick.
it's a lot of professional things.
We're a club for the students, and that's what we're gonna be. We want to charge people as little as we can so that everybody can come through, have a good time, and simple as that. His car blew up, the worst we wanna do is take all the money away from him. We know how that goes, so reimburse him however much you feel
Well,
necessary.
just tell me a number and I'll send it back.
Alright, reimburse him $15, that's fair.
That seems fair to me too.
Didn't tell him to come pick the food.
He has a good bag.
Yeah. Alright, Landon McCown had to leave due to family emergency. He was in the show, for a good, did he get a goodie bag?
I have absolutely no sympathy there.
No, I don't either. He was in the show, had his car in there, got a goodie bag?
No,
Didn't get a goodie bag.
no,
He
because he had to.
There was rules for the show.
Okay. So that
He was
one.
the first one to break the rules.
Yeah, so that
How is that
was.
breaking
hold on,
the
hold on,
rules
it's
if he has a
family
family emergency?
Like, I had to.
What
go
if
on
this kid
Thursday.
was dying? You're gonna say,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm gonna take that $50 because your kid's dying.
What if he was parked in the inside of the show and we have to move every
We'd
car?
have to do that.
Then we would have to do that.
It's like a family emergency.
Now that is also being a dick. If you're not gonna give him money back because he had a family emergency,
What?
Did he ask
He's
for
in the
it?
middle of the show.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
was.
It's not his fault though, it's like, it's like just normal things. that
So
happen in
he
life.
attended half the event, you want to refund him?
I don't think he was there for half of the event. You have to ask Logan how
He
long
was
he was
there.
He was there
there.
for half the event.
He was there for a
He was
while.
there a long time.
I mean,
We
I
can go
say
back
we
and
take
look
it
at
to an
pictures.
officer vote, but I just don't think that's right. That's not cool.
Okay,
I'm
I
fine
mean,
with voting for it.
yeah, I mean, my only issue, I guess, with that is I do understand that, you know, those kind of things happen. Family matters are, you know, something you can't account for. And it's good to make, you know, exceptions to rules we have put in place, but like that really could have screwed everything up for everyone.
Let me just ask you this. You bought a ticket to a football game, to an NFL football game, and you attend a quarter of it and then, oops, I gotta leave. Do you think that that NFL team is gonna give you the money back?
This
So
is what
the
I'm saying
ticket
for the other guy too, right? You didn't make it. It's about the same deal.
So we don't have a policy against this, but I'm strongly against refunding this guy just because he had a family emergency. Like, I could have a family emergency and have to miss class. Do you think, I mean, that WSU should give me the tuition back for missing that class? I willingly signed up for this.
3 weeks of school, I mean, or 4 weeks of school. Listen, I'm not gonna argue with anyone, I just feel like maybe give him half the money back or something. It's a family emergency. If he said that, like, he needed to go because of like a doctor's appointment, then fine, no money back. But if it's a family emergency, like, you guys should at least consider.
I'd like to put this up for a vote.
All right, put up for a vote, raise your hand if he should get $15 back out of the $30 you paid for VIP.
The guy who had to leave early, the Volkswagen guy, was voting on.
Because it's up right now, we're just gonna talk about it.
All but one.
Yeah, so, all right, raise your hand if you want $50,
All but two.
Kent is not here, Logan's not here, and Matt's not here.
okay, if you wanna wait then?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Moving on, ASWSU advertising, $92, reimbursement?
What's that for?
So,
I don't know, I didn't put that
in
up
our funding request from NSWSU, we got 92 some dollars. Do you know how they get, they
We
already
don't give them a refund.
No, they already gave him the receipt.
We don't give them a refund.
Yes, that would be a reimbursement.
I don't know why.
Well, you can't refund ASW.
No, that's for
Oh, yeah.
cash
You have
that
to do
should go towards our account for action. cash issue going towards whose account? Ours? Yeah. Why?
Why?
Because we requested it in the fund. That's what we got.
We got,
Yeah.
the $92 was for flyers.
Yeah, I'll pay for it, by the way, yeah, that's good. All right, moving on, next.
to spend stuff on funny.
Super ambassadors, these guys are gonna talk about, I guess you can talk about what you're talking about.
So, yeah, I'm Ian,
I'm back here.
and we're the super ambassadors for the kind of like this Pullman Moscow area. And Subaru gives us money to then spend on little goodies, just things to, further the brand, get the Subaru, brand out there. So we head gaskets, TDO, rim lens. So we have, I think, $300. Yeah.
I think a good way to ask is, how did you guys like the last time we were there? Was that a good amount of stuff we gave out?
Yeah.
The stuff that JC went quick.
The cups that you guys had there, those were very good giveaways.
Cups,
Or good stuff,
goodies,
I should say.
The sunglasses.
shirts.
Everybody
glasses.
loves freaking sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Shirts would be great too.
So I have,
hot socks are sweet, yeah.
so I have like a website of goodies pulled up. Let's see if there's some way to get it on the screen.
You're getting HDMI for it?
I do, yeah. Do like that. And I'm just gonna scroll through, if there's anything you guys see that looks real good. I'll make a note of that and we can go ahead and order it for our dads we can meet. Lanyards.
I like flags, yeah, but that's expensive.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah,
You can get
They
dogs.
look pretty small though.
So we can do, I think that was 3 foot by 5 foot.
Oh, wow. Okay, I will put that on my wall for
So what we do, at the August meeting, the first thing of the year, we had like a little raffle, which like contained a few big name, like bigger items. So we could do the flag as a raffle.
I like that water bottle.
Yeah, that's one of them.
It's big.
You guys are picking out really expensive items.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
How's that $21 for a package?
$35 for one.
that's a 10 pack. It was like
25.
It's a 10 pack of bottles. Oh, no, 10 pack of like
I guess that's a bunch of.
They have a ton of cool apparel in here, but the problem is sizing.
Yeah.
Can't really give away shirts because they're expensive and we can't do raffle for them because of sizing issues.
Pens, hell yeah.
I'm definitely ordering much.
That's a $14 pen, hold on.
No, it's packed for $25.
That's one of those space pens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real fancy.
Drawstring backpack.
I like those floating keychains.
So do I, that's what you get summertime thing.
Yeah, that would be a good.
I like that super cups that
Yeah.
like glasses and
Yeah,
cups
well-
are always awesome.
Should bring an umbrella, it's probably rain.
Let's just order everything. Like dog toy, super dog toy.
Yeah, Subaru's really about the animals.
Yeah.
Caribbeans are sweet.
Certainly, but.
I love curvaceous. Ooh, those are.
Those signs are always.
Yeah, I kinda like the sign, I think a good raffle is because I think a lot of people think those are more expensive than they are. Yeah, there's no way people are gonna guess that the sign is only $6.
Yeah, we get a couple of those.
Yeah.
Like the little girl keychains.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, I need to be strong.
So, Taylor, how do you feel about that white water bottle?
10 out of 10 would not buy again. Really? Well, yeah, it like leaks and it sounds like,
mine
paraphernalia.
Mine doesn't.
Oh, no.
Sounds
All right. Yeah, let's keep going. Pop sockets, good. Riley kid.
Sure.
It's got like a water bottle, sunscreen thing, I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
It's like it's a drawstring bag too.
That's actually really cool.
Move more signs.
Oh, definitely the pocket speakers.
Yeah.
Use this bottle.
Yes, those look really
Everybody
quick
actually-
at,
Really?
yeah, those look really quick at
actually-
August meet and at,
Oh.
GC.
You see that? You see this? You see this? A license plate. I tap that.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
You could put that.
We'll be getting a lot of Cherokee.
Yeah. I like that. What's that? Can't use
Yeah,
this.
this guy.
Oh, I have a Subi photo on the front of my car. I'm gonna
There's a lot of choices here.
There are a lot of, I was gonna get probably some of the, rally towels.
I like the cleansing cloth too.
I think those are.
They have the, like glasses cleaner too. So,
Is it up?
I think it's that one right there, down the bottom, in the center, black and blue.
Yeah, is that good for, is that like microfiber?
Yeah.
That would be really dope, I'd love to have a couple of those.
That would be cool. Basically, whatever you get, the hot.
Yeah, I'll take it. There's no fact.
Honestly, yeah, you guys pretty much know what's good, what's not by, posting stuff up. Honestly, two raffle items.
You guys want?
Yeah, honestly, I guess it's all up to you.
And if you guys are wanting to grab a couple things on one of your like lower months where you're not, selling or giving everything away real fast, you could grab one of the more expensive items, one of those wipes or something, and then we could use it at one of our events.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like a winter stock, so do like something to put like over the table or
Yeah.
something like that.
That'd be cool.
How much did you put down for that final?
I'd bid $50 on that, probably.
So yeah, I just want to get everyone's like opinions, just kind of show off what we have to offer. If there was anything that stood out with. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and kind of order what we feel is best. And then get us loaded up for Dad's Weekend.
Cool.
Yeah, for Dad's Weekend, we are gonna go talk about that a little bit during this meet, and anything we come about, such as having you guys be part of it, we'll definitely forward to you, such as if we're going to have vendors, if we're gonna be, having people give things away like you guys do.
Cause I'd love to like set up a stand with Roger Subaru.
Yeah, that'd
Be
be
there,
super
kind of like
awesome.
be able to talk about like the actual models they bring. And that kind of thing.
I would get in contact with Eric here. He has contact with,
Or you guys should straight up get in contact with them. I know McCurley Subaru and Roger Subaru both bring cars for Coogan, at least for Coug games. I know Roger Subaru brings cars for Vandals games as well.
Okay.
So they're definitely willing to bring cars out.
Yeah.
So,
I'll talk about
nice, cool.
All right, anything else, you guys?
I think that's it.
Perfect. Next biggest talking point right now. Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. It's good having you. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, I'll tell you that. AEC U of I. This is something that is very new. Probably a lot of us don't even know that this is something that is possibly going into action pretty soon. These gentlemen and ladies over here from Idaho themselves, U of I. Guys, just introduce yourselves, starting over here.
I'm Derek. I'm a freshman. I have a 2003 Dodge. What? Yeah, the broken windshield.
Got fixed.
Yeah.
That's it?
My name's Riley Neal.
I'm Jim.
You know the Suburban.
I'm Haley Bowman. I'm a junior at U of I.
What do you drive?
2013 Ford Focus Custom.
I'm Clay Mulder. Driving 2014 Toyota Corolla.
Nice, those sick. Okay, so I guess.
I grew up here.
Yeah, what's up?
I grew up in
Yeah.
That's why I scooted.
Okay, so I guess attending weekly meetings. We have meetings every single Tuesday. It would be nice if you guys came and attended maybe once a month, maybe all of them a month, as many as you guys can really come to. Kind of give updates as to where your club is, what you're doing, how it's going with setting it up with U of I. There's a lot to do when setting up clubs. It takes a long time, a lot of stressful things, a lot of paperwork, a lot of filing.
And there will be a lot of roadblocks and expect.
Yeah, so
Like, oh yeah, by the way, so you thought you had this all set up and now, like with our parking guy, right, with Cody. By the way, you thought you had all your parking set up, now there's a new parking instructor and he hates your club.
So I guess.
We would definitely welcome you guys and help you out.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So the thing we have to offer is an example. We have a bunch of people here who have answers to probably everything you guys are about to go through. A lot of us are here. Some of them are in another, future job. They graduated, but for the most part, everybody here can answer your questions. We have a personal contact with Evelyn over there, who is.
I'm the RSO coordinator, so I coordinate all the RSOs on campus.
Yeah, she's pretty much in charge of making sure all clubs go the way they should, be getting what they need to be able to be a successful club. Helped us through a lot of things. So if you guys have questions, feel free to contact me, or I can ask Evelyn to see if she has any suggestions or ideas on it. She's not affiliated with WS or U of I, so she can't personally go out of her way to help you guys with that. But
They
I
have
can
an
get
equivalent person.
Yeah,
exactly.
Do you know who that is?
Not sure, but it's not hard to figure out.
That's gonna be somebody that's gonna be your biggest advocate.
So yeah, I mean, I don't mind if you guys want to start kind of like an officer group chat with me in it. I can help you guys along with it as much as I can. I guess to start.
No, I was just gonna say, I think your biggest task right now is just figuring out how you set up an RSO through U of I.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna probably be different than AEC.
So I was just gonna say too, for everyone's information, you may remember back to January's rocket fuel explosion at UI. So there are different processes between what our guys here have to do for events and things like that versus what you will have to do. So in terms of like legality, what you have to do to get your events to happen, they'll probably be different. So that might not be something we can really counsel you on as much.
Yeah. So I mean,
for sure, it was pretty quick for the rocket club to start up, so they kind of screwed everybody over. That has to do with combustion now. The snowmobile team.
So do you think the car club will fall under that?
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm part of the track club. We deal with rockets all the time. Have to deal with it. So
Yeah, that's
I was
awesome.
assuming
So yeah, you have experience with club work then, yes?
Yeah.
And you wanted to, I guess, be part of the U of I AEC?
Yeah, already.
Awesome, perfect. So yeah, I mean, really, there's only so much, I guess, AEC, WSU can do for you guys in terms of, starting out. This is really you guys' own club. I'm not gonna say you guys are branching off of us, but, kind of branching off.
Chapter.
Exactly.
I mean, we're like.
It's kind of following the same kind of guidelines we have as term, like rules. We, can't have things at events, things we don't want to be associated with in terms of bad things like burnouts, drifting,
Alcohol, drugs.
exactly. So really, those are the main guidelines you need to focus on, and we can go through that as we go down the line.
Two things. Number one, do you guys have officer positions picked out yet for you for?
We're not, this is kind of like the,
Yeah, like
to
the
the
first
meeting
thing.
and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second thing, I know half of our club hates it for some reason. But you guys know Samir?
Does he go to U of I?
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay, wow, yeah.
So hit up Samir. He's really good with this.
I don't know his last name.
Yeah, I don't know either, but he drives something like that. He drives a blue Honda. He is real good with setting up events and getting the word out and stuff.
Yeah,
He's also
write this down.
he was a huge part of some Evo page or something for some reason.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether you have differences with him or not, he will get a lot of the stuff moving for you guys.
No, I really don't think anybody has differences with him.
I don't know. I just thought for some reason a whole bunch of people in our club.
Moving on. Don't need to talk about that.
Also, I have access to the Focus Society page, and we're all over the world, so our first meet is the next weekend at State Line, and we're gonna partner with Halloween Ice Cream. So.
Perfect.
A lot of
So
background in it.
that's awesome. And I mean, with that, you guys are going to really be able to boost your popularity up with U of I. I guess we kind of already talked about attending weekly meetings. We do have weekly meetings every Tuesday. If that's something you guys want to do, absolutely come down here for the time being to the WSU campus. Maybe eventually, when you guys kind of get set up, we can take once a month and move our meeting to you guys' U of I campus, kind of mix things up with us. I think that would be cool for us. It'd be cool for you guys, so you can have meetings on your own turf. That way you guys aren't driving here all the time. I guess you kind of talked about that to me, and that was a really good idea. So really with that, it just comes to making your RSO club through U of I, so you can kind of be, an official club with you guys at school. So adding serious members to the group chat to figure out positions. Riley, you've been pretty much contacting everybody about this. So with you guys can make a group chat. I suggest getting about anywhere from 5 to 8 people who are really serious about making a car club and kind of sticking with those guys as best you can. You guys are going to come through a lot of other people who are willing to help and come through, and that's great. I'd say there's a difference between wanting to start a car club and actually starting a car club, and it's a matter of picking those people out because it is a lot of work. Every one of us spends a minimum of 2, 3, 4 hours a week on stuff.
It's not a lot, but it's mandatory.
It is. It's mandatory stuff that you need to do, and balls cannot get dropped. So that's another thing that really is kind of a struggle with. So it's up to you guys to kind of figure out positioning, who's going to be taking charge of the events, and just kind of going through positions. I mean, you guys can absolutely follow our structure. Our structure has worked really, really good so far.
Yeah, by the way, some tweets.
Yeah, absolutely have had to make tweaks, as will you guys, because you guys are, kind of a different club entity. But, yeah, I guess collaboration with AEC and U of I and what it would look like. What do you guys kind of see the future be?
So you were talking with meetings. I get for a while we'll be here until we're like totally officially set up. But once we get set up, I think that maybe once a month or something would be super cool. Just like have both of them come together, and then maybe alternate that, like month here, month there, and just make sure that that's good.
No, absolutely. Just kind of see where you guys are at. And I mean, you guys can come to as many meetings as you possibly want. I mean, you guys can even, if you have like a secretary or something, send him, take notes here, refer back to you guys to see what's going on, where we're at as a club, what events we're doing, to see if you guys want to collaborate with that on us.
How do we access the live?
Was that
live feed? This is the second time we've done this.
Okay.
And I post up a link in the Facebook group, and I also posted it to the page, and all you gotta do is click on it.
Okay.
The live stream is like 30 or 40 seconds behind the lives, but you can leave comments and stuff. And I try to watch and bring them up as they come.
Yeah, but however, the live, it's more of a watching thing than a participating thing.
But
it's
you
harder
can
to
participate.
You
That.
can, but
Eric's monitoring the comments.
it's less attention grabbing if I just start emailing. But I don't post a comment.
But some people can't always attend it, and
Yeah,
I get it.
that's-
You have lab, and you don't actually do anything in lab, so throw a headphone in, and listen, whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Tuesday nights might not be great for everyone, so they're good for us, but they might not be good for everybody else.
Yes, I mean, truthfully, I would love to help you guys as much as I possibly can to get that club up and running, because that would be really sweet. There's a lot of cars out there. All you guys have the same interests and hobbies. It'd be awesome for you guys to be able to make, weekly meets where you can get everybody from the U of I campus to get together and have a nice party.
And I wouldn't mind using AEC to springboard some of those U of I meets.
Absolutely.
Where we do AEC WSU, since we're more solid right now, we can help do the legwork on a U of I meet. And then, but the problem is the big hurdle is you guys got to get it as an RSO, get created as a group, because the only reason we're able to do stuff like Beasley and things like that is because we're already an RSO. And I don't know if they call them RSOs at U of I. But yeah, as soon as you guys get that, then you can start reserving spaces and doing cool stuff like that. And for now, we can help you with the legwork, and you guys can figure out the whole process and everything. But yeah.
I just think just one other thing to consider that, when this club started, you talk about being like a chapter of the club or whatever, but this group worked really hard to develop a brand that's recognizable and that's, what's the word? Respected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's important, like starting another club of the same name.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some policies and some rules and things like that, to make sure that brand stays intact.
Because we're starting to spread our brand. Like Victoria's dad is in the police force, so he has a sticker on his truck. And now, if we drive around, we're trying to get not just community members and maybe some businesses or whatever and students to recognize us. We're also trying to get on the good side of law enforcement too, so they know that we're not here to be a pain in their ass or street race or burnouts or revving or cause noise complaints or whatever. We want them to also know that we're on their side as much as we're on the car enthusiast side. And that helps us because we've had a total of 0 incidents at all of our meets combined so far.
Well, if it helps to think about it, like, I know this is really weird, but like trying to think of the chapters, I think of Sons of Anarchy, I don't know if any of you guys watch that, but I think of it that way, not in like the violent term, but like you have that one, like AEC WC was gonna be like your main like branch, and then you have all these other clubs that we're gonna try to do, like WC Spokane, do them all over. But like, we're gonna be your main support system, so like, if you need us to help you with stuff, we're there, we'll help you like start your stuff. But like he was saying, I mean, the biggest part of doing a club and like boosting it is getting your community members involved. Yes, we are a student organization, but the more help you have from the community is gonna really help you. Like our fundraising and stuff, we had Cougar Country donate $200 worth of gift cards for our club. I mean, it's really important to get those connections to the community members. So, and we can definitely help you with that.
Oh, of course, if you guys need attendance, like we need attendance for this meet, right? If you guys are trying to throw a meet together and you guys aren't on G's, you know, like we had some real panic attacks over here. Thinking we wouldn't even fill VIP every single meet. Well, Eric, me included, Matt, like everyone in this room had panic attacks about whether we fill VIP or not, right? So if you guys need attendance for a meet like that, you like send us a note or something. At least all our officers will just come in and roll into your meeting.
To be fair, the first meet I have ever had at this school, it was me. I showed up at a parking lot. One other person came. Like it was one of the most depressing meets I've ever had.
That was like half the shop coming, guys. You know, guys don't remember. That was half the shop.
No, so it gets better. If people don't show up, they will. If you guys need attendance, please contact me. We'll spam our page. Yeah. I know people are looking for every excuse to drive their cars.
There's a lot of devoted people, like they're not officers too. Like Cooper's always there. We get all ready to show up. Greg shows up to like every meeting.
When I get my car, if I get a car, I will absolutely come to every meeting. That's a struggle that's been happening. And
I think you'll have an easier start than we will.
Yeah.
I mean, we started from scratch, and you guys will
We
have
have a
this
strong
base.
Facebook community already.
Yep.
And you'll be able to pull a ton of members from Bowman to come to meets at U of I. And you know how many people are already from U of I that are on our Facebook group?
Yeah.
It's gonna just like launch you guys. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for you guys to go.
Like I'm honestly way too excited for this to actually happen. So please let me know.
There's gonna be some card thing hosted by an AEC group happening every single weekend.
Yeah, so that can
forever. It's going to be
so that can take the stress off us too, so we can plan on a lot of big meetings and you guys can do a bunch of little small ones to work your way up.
But you guys need big ones too, right?
Yeah.
So you guys need your big
Kiddie domes as well. Whatever the heck that is, like you were talking about, that'd be sweet eventually to get
I
there.
really want to do one of the Kiddie domes.
You should.
We definitely feel like 100 to 150 cars inside
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
So I would like to respond to the her comment as well, just saying like we do understand like we're taking on not only the AEC name but WSU's name here, everything that you guys have built up as an organization. We're also taking on the U of I name. So there's a lot of things that obviously we need to follow the rules, and we're not going to piss anyone off.
Exactly.
Because it's
And
very
you guys-
important considering how many people we have.
And I
Combining
mean, you
on
guys can use like our constitution as well and use it to change it up to what you guys have, officer positions, no.
We're gonna fix the Constitution.
Well, yeah, we gotta do that, but like officer positions and their duties and everything, so.
I mean, truthfully, we can go with you guys and, I mean, when you guys have an officer set up, you guys can come work with us on Constitution because the more help, the better, especially when making that because you guys can use the same one we have.
But remember, you're independent. You do your own thing too.
Yeah.
But we're here to help. So.
What's up, Eugene?
I just wanted to like remind everyone that like, especially you guys when you get started, just have fun with it. Like, don't get too stressed out about a lot of things. It'll probably work out fine. Just make sure you guys have fun.
Emphasis on probably.
And you guys should be fun. So.
Yeah.
I mean, really meetings we do take seriously as like a business kind of thing, but honestly, after this, we're all friends. During it, we're still all friends. I mean, it's really just something so we can get stuff done. Eugene, what you got going on over there?
I just got reading notes.
Okay. Yeah, so.
Was it from, what's
That
that?
is spam mail. That's-
Probably spam.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're all really friends. We all kind of have the same interests, goals, and everything. So, I am keeping it rolling, don't you worry. So yeah, it's a really fun thing once you get it rolling, and it's stressful at times, but it only gets better. I mean, we have gone from meetings at my house in my living room to getting rooms like this. And it's just something you guys can look forward to. And like I said, please, anything you guys need help with, let me know, because I'm absolutely down to help. Do you guys have anything to talk about, add questions, anything?
I'd like to add into, like, I want this to be like U of I, and like we have our meets, you guys have your meets. I mean, I want to have like double the cars at your meets, double the cars at our meets, like double participation on both ends.
You guys are gonna hit Moscow, we're gonna hit Pullman, we're gonna bring them together and make some really
Exactly.
cool stuff.
I mean, that's really what I want to happen here, is just to grow this community massively and really get the car scene going. And I feel like
We've had a lot of people who say, oh, but you're WSU club, I don't even go to WSU or have any affiliation.
I feel like a lot of the flyers I hand down U of I, that's a reason why I didn't see a lot of cars that I was putting things on, besides Derek's, obviously, at the show, because I feel like they got the card and they just thought this is a WSU affiliated thing. So, and I know, I think some frats have a little bit of hard feelings over there towards WSU. So, I'm not some of the frat houses I think might have hard feelings. I've heard rumors of like them not liking WSU for some reason I'm not aware of it, but
maybe it's.
I mean, the thing is too, is we can use our resources and pull up, so when you guys need help renting out the Kibby Dome, we can come through and help you guys.
exactly, when you guys need help with Beasley, we can come through and help you guys do it again.
So honestly, this is gonna be nothing but successful, and I mean, honestly, make a group chat tonight, add me in it if you want, I'm absolutely there, I'll be there to help you guys. I mean, if I don't know the question, I know somebody who has an answer. So.
Or is the woman's name's Lindsay, I just can't think of her.
And that's.
Are we moving on?
Yeah, so, guys, any closing questions out of anybody? All right, yes.
I mean, worst case scenario, we're all here for vehicles, and to me, that's like the funnest thing ever. So I think this should be fun as hell.
No, it will be absolutely. All right, guys. Yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any time commitment issues, you guys can head on out. If not, stay for the meeting. It's up to you guys. Feel free to leave whenever you want. So moving on to sponsorships. Us officers had some run-ins with sponsorships, preferably from Eric and Kenta with Toyota and Roger Subaru. So what do we got going on with that status update?
I emailed the dude, he hasn't emailed me back, so I don't know what that means. I know he's one of those recruiters who don't road a lot, but I don't know. Haven't heard back.
Okay, that's fair.
So, Roger Subaru stood me up a little bit and I'm kind of butthurt. But I want to call him up and I keep calling and I can never get him to talk to the manager. He's always,
Yeah, go guys.
Always goes to his voicemail. But I want to talk to him and go, dude, where were you at? Like a 2002 Subaru Forester got runner up of best Asian or something like that. So that, cause like, that's what that dude's into. He's like the guy that does the lifted cross trek and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, I really want to get them on board and I feel like we're close, especially if we leverage those Subaru ambassadors to pressure those guys, because those are supposed to be like a direct link to Subaru ambassadors. So I think it would not be hard for shows like GC to be able to bring McCurley Subaru from Tri-Cities and Roger Subaru from Lewiston, and then maybe even Spokane or Coeur d'Alene. Like, these guys will drive those distances no problem, especially for things like football games and stuff. Yeah. No football games bring 20,000 people, but with the success that GC was, we can pull it off.
We're gonna pull up next year too, because
You're gonna sell out next year.
Absolutely.
There's so many people that, oh my gosh.
And by we mean you guys.
Okay, so yeah, just keep coming into contact with them, find out what you can as to why they didn't show up, whatnot. Evergreen Tire?
They are willing to be a sponsor for us.
Okay, that's cool.
But the guy from Evergreen Tire is more gonna be a monetary sponsor rather than like a physically show up and like.
He was there. No, he was.
Zane was there with
Yes.
vehicle on, yeah.
Yes, but they
He
were
wasn't
gonna
there in
bring
like
it.
sponsor.
Yes.
Very good.
And he was going
Yeah.
to bring a table,
Oh,
but
so
they
good.
couldn't figure it out, so they were going to bring a table.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
plus the
because he took the Subaru table, that then, once all the swag was gone, he just threw his stuff on that table.
He asked us, I told him it was fine.
Okay.
It was
Alright.
It's good.
Was there super stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really good.
It was just leftovers.
That's
Like I
said, we're
I mean, I was there
done.
at 9:30 and I did not see.
Oh,
I
any
don't,
numbers.
because I think he didn't get there until
He
like,
got out at about 12 or 1
Oh.
o'clock, and then by 2:30, by the time the show had been going for 30 minutes, it was all done.
Yeah, I missed
This is
it.
what I get for working downstairs.
It was just leftovers from moving meat. They didn't have anything.
Same koozies, cups, and glasses.
It's still lit, it's still lit fast.
All right, Quad City Nissan, who has connections with that?
So that was Matt Hogue, for some reason. I'm not sure why, but that was Matt Hogue.
it's because them and Logan went and did tires.
Yeah,
or
so-
flyers there.
I think that's something we need to talk about when they both get there, so if you can make a note, that'd be awesome.
They asked, how many cars can we bring? That's what Quad Cities Nissan's response was. So it seemed like they were very responsive.
Okay, perfect. So, awesome, O'Reilly's sponsored, you have a really good connection, was this you?
Yeah, well, apparently O'Reilly sponsors for Blue States, and so they may or may not be willing to sponsor us.
Well, they told me that we need to get in very early to them so they can allocate money to sponsors.
One, but I mean, I've got time, so she already knows we're interested in them sponsoring us, so she can
Right.
drop the hint
Yep.
whenever.
But the way I understood it is that they, early on in the year, allocate their funds for sponsorships of events, and we were way late.
So maybe we should find out when the date is, as to when they select that, so we can jump in before.
I heard someone
I mean-
say at this meeting or last meeting or whatever, that it's all over in the year. So
We
we submit it by January and
We can't do much with next year's GC until football schedule comes out.
Absolutely.
Because
Which
if we're,
should come out in January though.
if we're gonna schedule like close to football, what?
You can close Beasley during the game, right?
Yeah, but where are you gonna park all your trailers and cars and things?
Yeah, no.
also,
It's
you don't
impossible to
compete
do
with the
car
football
shows.
game.
Yeah.
No one can be anything bigger than us.
One, that's what I was thinking about earlier. You have
You're the
DC
biggest
on
fish
a
in the pond.
Saturday.
What are the biggest fish in the pond?
Everybody's gonna be filming all Saturday, so
Yes.
you're gonna get all the
Oh,
drunks
yeah.
coming in and looking
Yeah.
at the cars.
No, but
throwing out
seriously,
seats.
you got $50, you're gonna spend it on a football game, you're gonna spend it on showing your car. A lot of people just go to say football game, right? We don't wanna
The
be-
issue with GC is it was during homecoming for you.
Yeah, us, we're gonna play club, right?
We didn't
But
even know
even
it was
Eric is a big football
It
fan.
wasn't even taken into consideration.
Yeah,
That's
I
something
know.
we should have
Well,
thought of.
obviously it's I mean, it's, yeah. It
Um,
wasn't really
And
necessarily
so
the
that's a bummer because when we heard about that, we're like, dang it, we're way too late into it.
Yeah, we didn't hear about that until we decided to go to La Casa for
Yeah.
dinner.
We heard about it a little bit about people who were talking about buying tickets and go, oh, nope, I got my parents here, I got doing stuff or whatever.
And the nice thing about having you guys too working with us is you guys are able to tell us what events UI has so that we don't skip over you guys, because you guys have a good town. It's very big, there's a lot of people, a lot of cars, so if there's something that is gonna be restrictive to events being thrown via cars like homecoming, you guys have the IDs and dates so that we make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So anybody else have any other questions, concerns with sponsorships?
I just think that the silent auction raffle was
Fantastic.
like the best.
But realize that we spent a whole year collecting all of the raffle items.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, we did because
We only have the bottle of wine.
we had talked about doing stuff for end of the year and we had all these things planned for the end of the year. And then we put the can on all that because we moved it to later and blah, blah, blah,
But
blah.
we only had the wine and food country gift cards.
That's
all
probably
that
why
we
we put
had.
a can on it.
Yeah, it wasn't,
Yes.
it wasn't that we didn't think there was gonna be money there.
No,
No, we had like no.
we literally had the bottle of wine that we got from Just Ford, and then we had the Cougar Country gift card. The football, the car wash kits, Les Schwab, O'Reilly's, all of that stuff, and the football was done a month or so.
Yeah,
before
even
the
my,
event.
Good job, Larry, you get props on that one, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that was really good. I think, like, this sponsorship should be a two-way street. So like, what are we providing back to them?
Yeah,
Is
I-
something we should.
One,
That's a
that's
great
the
way
other
to
thing
do
that
it.
we need to also do, we can do it at the end, or say, we need to do thank you notes
Yes.
for everybody,
Let's
do that.
for all the vendors.
It's something about chocolate. And we should do a car meet at Cougar Country.
It's local.
There's-
There's like
Yeah.
5 parking spots.
Not-
I don't think they would appreciate
I'd
that.
love to.
I don't even park on the driving side, because I know I can't get out.
Yeah.
Because I'm a terrible driver.
Guys got it. We're gonna park in the drive-thru. Always full.
What about that empty gravel lot?
On top
of used cars.
On top of
Just
it.
All right, Halloween meet. This is coming right the frick up, so we need to definitely get going on this one. So, Taylor printed out some sheets here that have general guidelines, checklists for events. Pretty much has, what's going on, Hoagie? Pretty much has, actually, before we talk about this, let's talk about the Hoagie stuff we need to talk about.
Which is,
Craftsman wrenches,
Yeah,
receipt for that?
I didn't pick it up today, so it's sleeping, obviously, but it's good to you. I Googled it on the ACE, it's $50.52.
For
So,
everything,
The most expensive parts that wrenching box set is $21.
okay, perfect, so,
Logan's bringing the cash box, so.
yeah, 50, 60 bucks sounds
I
good.
can,
Yeah.
$50 is fine, I know the price off the top of my head, it's $6.99 for a 6-inch extendable, I'm sorry.
I got
I'm
you.
so sorry.
Yeah.
$6.99 for the extender, for the socket, for a 10 millimeter deep socket is $5.99, it's $15.99 for the actual bracket, and then it was, $21.99 or $20.99 for the, ratcheting box and wrench.
I'll tell you what. If you're happy with 50 bucks is fine.
That's fine.
50 bucks. That's gonna cover all the wrenches that were misplaced / lost / whatnot.
hopefully they show back up.
Very unlikely.
And then we'll have that percent.
All right, so Matt Hope, Quad City Nissan, what did you and Logan talk about in terms of sponsorship for that, you know?
They, so when we talked to them, it was kind of hard, understanding what the guy actually said, just because he doesn't speak the best of English.
That's fair.
But he told us that he was coming. So it was kind of weird, but he was very interested. He said that they're very interested in like the car community and whatnot. And,
Obviously.
yeah, and he's like, he wanted to know like what the maximum limit of like how many cars they could bring to the show was. And they were like, if you want, you can bring 2, and that's for free as a vendor. I'm like, all right, we'll see you Saturday, and they never showed up.
Matt, can we add next year, thing as part of the checklist, I guess Taylor is what to say this, to contact our car vendors the day before and ask, or like even leave a voicemail on the manager's recorder and say, hey, just remind me that GC's coming up, so they don't miss that, because I honestly feel like this is they have 1,000 things on their plate, and this was small enough that it got dropped off the plate.
Yeah.
And it was a killer for us, because if we had 3 dealerships upstairs with 2 cars each, that's 6 additional cars upstairs, and they're gonna be fine looking cars. So,
Yes.
Next year.
so just add that to contact the dealerships.
Yeah, we really.
Like in a couple days prior to the event.
We possibly have a Ford dealer next year that I'm already contacting, and they just wanted to have a more heads up time frame. It's deal, so.
And you know next year we'll hit that time frame.
Yeah.
So another thing we kind of want to talk about too is finding out why certain places didn't come. Maybe it was too short in advance, maybe it was bad time, maybe
I just think it's
weekends. Yeah, what?
I think they just forgot.
I think so too. I think it was either not a big enough event for them to remember, or they just forgot or had better things to do.
Yeah, so I think playing out people, because Logan and I went and talked to the people that were supposed to be like showing up, like actually supposed to come, so like wrote it down on their calendar, had like did everything in front of us. And they almost seemed like, as much as they were like on board about everything, they're like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna keep talking to you, but like you're invading like my workspace, like please get out.
Well,
Like,
but
type
the
of
other
deal.
thing with that though is talking to them is way more effective than email.
Yeah.
With Just Ford and Shipman and Taylor, I got nothing back over email from them.
I got the exact opposite from Subaru.
That's because,
Email.
but that's because Subaru is interested. Subaru is coming to our meeting next week. Shipman and Taylor doesn't care.
That's
And the
true.
thing
for
that
some
was,
reason.
the thing that was very
Yeah.
frustrating.
They will when Subaru and Nissan starts caring.
Yeah,
When they start finding out that their
they got a couple
dealerships.
Camaros on the lot, right?
Well, the thing that was super frustrating as Just Ford I personally went in, talked to Jim Jess, gave him our little donation thing or whatever. Logan personally went and gave him a couple flyers. You went in, test drove flipping Mustang, talked about the needs. And the guy, the guy or the employee was like, oh yeah, I'm super interested. I've heard nothing about this. Like, I don't know what that is about. I mean, Jeff Ford was super cool in donating that bottle of wine last year, but it's like, they just.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it here is like people, like a lot of people that we all know, just like nobody likes confrontation, especially when you're having such a good conversation about somebody. Like, Logan and I had so many good conversations with people about cars and like the car community and everything, like the actual local community. But at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, so I don't know, I might show up, but I might not. They're like, I don't have plans. Like one of the guys like, I don't have anything going on, but I might show up. It's like, I mean, it's like, it's hard because it's like, how do you get people that have like these noticeable cars? Like one of the guys who was like, oh, you'll have to check with the wife was like, sure. Talking about how I wanted to come out and bring his like GT 500 that he had. And he's like,
It's always the wives, man.
yeah, he's like, then he's like, he never said anything back. He's like, yeah, I'll let you guys know if I can't make it. And then he just never did. So it's like, I feel like that's on our part though, that some of us like should have, like Logan and I probably should have contacted some of the people we talked to the day before.
What's going on over there? What you got?
So, I don't know, did you guys get in contact with Rogers at all?
Rogers,
Motors over in Lewiston?
yes,
Okay.
Rogers Subaru's who I was talking to, but I don't have any of the other contacts.
Okay, so.
Rogers Motors has like 4 different things.
Yeah, I know their Toyota one. I've talked, so I went to the show and tried to meet down there. I've been there multiple times and they have some, not only like the management, like if you look at their Rogers Motor Edition stuff, like they make some badass stuff out of there. And I'm sure they'd love to come bring that to like car meet. Like,
Yeah, and that's what we were trying with, because that's what the Subaru guys were gonna bring on their modified, they have like a lifted Outback and stuff like that they were gonna bring, and they didn't, even though they said they were going to. So we're trying to, that's what I was talking about. But Rogers Motors is Toyota and Subaru and whatever. They're like, just like, you know how normally there's like a auto mall place where it's like dealership after dealership? That's Rogers Motors on the way into Lewiston. It's like, yeah. It's just like different dealership, but they're all Rogers right there. So you go across. I want to look at Dodge trucks today. Okay, we'll just walk right across the street. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, he's got something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with the whole Roger Brothers, I haven't had experience with them. I'm like, you have huge experience with Subaru, but I've had experiences that weren't so good with kind of the sleazy car salesman type people dealing with insurance work at Rogers Toyota.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, so I mean, that was my experience with it. Everybody has a different experience, but that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, Subaru's always hooked me up.
Yeah.
But the other thing with it though, I mean, it's not to say,
Yeah.
but like, just because one person has a bad experience, it doesn't mean that we have to completely like throw them out because of that
No,
experience.
yeah.
I mean, there still might be.
I would say
I was
something
just saying,
about
it's like-
Nissan.
We just
I
gotta,
hate
we just gotta
Plus
Yeah.
switch it up on who goes to each business.
I just say just like keep it like under the rug, just like keep it in like the back of your head, especially with like Quad Cities Nissan too.
I think this club relies on sponsorships enough, that you just need to make a pamphlet for sponsorships.
Yeah, I agree.
Send out to our people like every
That's a really good
semester, tell them what's going on, what you can do for them.
That's
what
a really-
you can do.
that's a
Well, and that's
good
a
idea.
good thing that like we did this year is, well, pretty close, as we had events planned out fairly early compared to last year as well. And
We're getting back onto GC. We have 20 minutes left till 8 o'clock. We need to get back onto Dad's weekend. Sorry to shut you down.
What about Halloween?
We need
Or that's what I meant, Halloween, sorry.
It's pretty sweet. Okay, cool. So, Taylor, drafted up this, kind of checklist as to how we're going to be going about, I guess it's pretty much a checklist, right?
Pass it around.
Yeah, it kind of explains to people what it is. These are just identical things, to see kind of, I mean, it's literally an event checklist to kind of keep everybody on task and assigning roles to everybody.
So that's everything that has to happen for an event. Sometimes it doesn't apply, like tickets, ticket prices, stuff like that, where you just go, no, it doesn't apply, cross it off. But that really helps make sure everything's done on time. 4 to 6 months is
We're
kind of a guideline. That's like ideal. Is,
This
for
is
everything
GC
to
all of it.
Right, but if it doesn't apply, just cross it out and move on. And if it's all filled out, it'll be easy. Breezy, lemon squeezy, so.
Yes, covers everything.
We should probably just like.
Yeah, this is a very comprehensive.
It keeps everybody organized.
And it keeps everyone accountable too.
I think I told you for how to set up.
It's more important than Halloween, right? Or what's closer?
Halloween.
We can do both, guys, that's why we delegate.
They're not terribly large mosques. Like Halloween's more like people as they show up, gas meters and whatever amounts.
Okay, so, tell me if I'm wrong, but isn't Halloween essentially gonna be a parking lot?
Yeah.
But like with a fan, like everyone wants to dress up as part of.
I thought Halloween was basically like a throwback to old PCC type meets where it was basically put together, nothing special, just a carving.
Yeah.
No flair, no frill, no giveaways, nothing like that.
Our Mexico meet, our last Mexico meet had a huge attendance and a whole bunch of happy people with that meet, not just because of Mexico, just because everyone liked the whole spot and just like hanging out, meeting, there's like no pressure.
So let's
Took this much planning.
So for Halloween, I don't think we're gonna have massive overhead. The only thing is gonna be dealing with parking, about spots.
We're gonna do off of those.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Why don't we just like
Opposed? Wouldn't be opposed?
I thought we were gonna do it in like Daddy or something.
No.
No, we want to do it fine arts, but back to our roots, guys.
How do we do that on football weekend?
It has to move. It cannot be the weekend we were scheduling it for.
Well,
It's on a football, it's on a football weekend.
So that's something.
And
21st?
is homecoming with, against Colorado.
Oh, yeah, we should put on 21st.
21st, you guys have the entire.
Let's make it like 2 hours.
There's a lot going on the 21st, so what other date are you guys thinking?
The
Maybe,
28th is Halloween.
and that's also.
That's not,
And-
yeah, that's not gonna be.
No.
Is
this supposed to go to them?
I'll take that over here, yeah.
It's top secret.
Unless somebody wants to designate themselves to write down and check stuff off this list. Well, he's taking notes, so it'd be really nice if we could have somebody else do it.
Here, I
You know
don't
what?
have.
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, Taylor can do it. Taylor has this all figured. Event manager, look, perfect job. All right, so.
So why is the 28th such a bad day?
28th
Because
is,
it's Halloween.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
people are
literally-
getting drunk Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
And those people who are getting
Monday.
drunk all those nights, you're gonna find parking somewhere, and guess what? Parking garage.
It literally starts Monday night.
Yeah.
Like, it starts Monday night, they're not as big, and it goes all the way until Halloween, or the day before.
that's probably what that.
So I got a quick thing to bring up, this is off topic, I found, older AEC stickers in my bag. I'm going to donate 10 of these to the U of I guys to kind of get something going on. So these are our kind of older stickers.
First gen.
Yeah.
Are they first gen or second gen?
They're second gen, because we have the first one, we got these made because
You should save one of those.
I have so many more.
Okay.
Here's 10 of them, distribute them how you like,
Thank you.
give them to your members, officers, I don't mind.
I know I hated the in-person ones at first. I am slowly falling in love with those.
These ass ones?
Yes.
If we cut off more of the A on this side, I think it'd be actually pretty bomb.
Are you gonna go in there and cut it?
I actually kind of like
That
it.
would be so nice.
Well, maybe we can work on getting kind of like a revamped version where it doesn't look
We need
all
white
funky.
ones.
Simple Mary.
This is what.
We sold very few stickers because people wanted white ones.
I only buy white
Which
stickers,
is-
so.
Yeah, I second the white sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only.
Oh, yeah, Halloween, all right, Taylor, what's first on checklist?
I'll do it.
Anyone want those target?
Can we go to it?
We don't.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
You're in charge
Like,
of
well,
this
we
checklist.
That is you, you're the event host.
Hey, let's get a date first, because
Yes.
that determines who's gonna be here, who's not gonna be here.
That's true.
It can't be on the 21st. Could it be on the 22nd, the day after the football game?
Why don't we do it
That
on
would be
a
a
weekday?
Monday.
Oh, can we do it on a Saturday then?
Or is it
Wait,
Sunday?
yeah, 22nd is Sunday, right?
College football
Yeah.
isn't really
I
good.
thought this
Yeah,
was
it
we
is.
originally had it on.
I thought we had it that Sunday night after the football.
Yeah, that
So
sounds
people
like a
clear
great
out, you know
idea.
what I mean? It's kind of dark, spooky, I guess.
I really think that's perfect. So
Sunday night?
22nd.
Why don't you like partner with a group like Orton's doing haunted, like, laser tag haunted house, like, why don't you do something on campus there when they're having their participation, maybe like collaborate?
Because it's October 10th,
Yeah.
we're scheduling this.
That's a lot of collaboration.
Also,
You're
the,
literally parking nearby and like using their event to get people to come to yours, it's already spooky, they're already in the mood for Halloween, I don't know.
also because the Oregon thing, I don't know if you guys went to that, I went to that once.
Well, we also love to.
It's laser tag.
Like, I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to, haunted houses and stuff. I get spooked just walking in the front door. I walked through the whole thing and I didn't even like shake once. I was like,
All right, let's get
you're behind the door. Oh, there you
Yeah,
are.
So 22nd,
The
night of the
22nd is on a
22nd.
Sunday.
Huh?
22nd is Sunday.
Okay, that's perfect. The night of the 22nd?
Yeah, nice, so what?
6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
That's perfect. It's just.
It'll be dark, it's dark right now.
And the location is gonna be Fine Arts Park Garage.
Third floor. Make sure that it's third floor and everybody knows, because I know so many people, I couldn't find it, only drove to the first floor of it, so,
We should put signs.
yeah.
We can, one of the things they used to do that.
So I think this should kind of be a sporadic thing. Who all kind of votes keep it off books or versus keep it on books? Off books, raise your hand.
I wanna know how hard it would be to put it on the books.
Probably pretty dang hard due to the fact it's
I
2 weeks
think,
until
I
the
think park, yeah, that's the hard part. Event request, parking didn't charge us.
Yeah.
Don't
don't have enough time for a funding request or anything.
Then what we do is we probably shouldn't go through all this legwork thing. If this is an off the books event, then let's just treat it like an off the books event, where we just create a Facebook event and call it good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
The only thing
Just like
is
this
get
truck.
people to dress their cars up and show up at the time.
Well, and the other thing
We'll put it in
is
the
we have to make people, because we were gonna give away 3 spots for the top 3 cars.
Oh, yeah, that's
For
right.
Dad's weekend.
For like
But
top 3 spooky.
You have to like be decorated, and we can still do that. We still can
Yeah,
do that.
it's easy to take care of, that's one objective.
Question then, are we paying for Dad's weekend spots? Okay.
Because this was supposed to be our fundraising. I mean, minus GC, but before GC, this was supposed to be the event that was supposed to be major fundraising.
Okay,
I just say, you guys should just selectively choose what you can do and can't do. Like,
In terms of,
on the books versus off the books.
yeah, that's a good idea.
And not just because it's my job, but just if you get caught, that's your name on this, you're doing an event in there and you bypass Ian and Cody, next time, I'm sure you're not gonna have a great conversation with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just, I
We
won't
could do
come to your
this,
meeting
then what you
anymore,
do,
I'm just
Here,
saying.
here, instead of parking on campus, we just park at RVs or whatever. You pick another spot that's off campus, that's in business, all right?
No,
Just notify him.
It's not hard, we can
Notify
just
him
get,
that you're
gonna
gonna
get called. I mean.
Are
Then
you
doesn't
so,
charge for parking.
so what is the rules on fine arts?
you have to pay
Permit
for
all-
parking passes.
permit-
Then what, here's what we do, we just make it a cruise, and the cruise happens to end up in the parking garage. We'll have an actual event request, and the actual event request will say, we're gonna have a cruise. What the event request won't include is that we're gonna end up in the parking garage.
Yeah, but then we stop people parking.
Why?
I mean, we're either gonna be shady about it or not gonna be shady
In
about it.
fine arts.
Huh?
How much
It's-
is it?
It's like $7 per spot.
Hey, it shouldn't be, because it's $3 to park in fine arts.
Doesn't matter, that's what they
The
quoted
weekend.
us on spots.
It's $3 per day.
What about Daggy Scream?
How about?
So you literally go
It's
in
not free either.
and you have the club pay $3 for however many spots we want.
Hey, let's just go talk to Cody and there's nothing we can do besides argue until we get a definitive answer.
So that's not the guy.
If we need to, let's just make it so we'll talk to them and see what they say about it, honestly. Well, even though Cody's not the guy anymore, it's Ian, but.
Yeah. So we say, hey, we're thinking about throwing an event in this parking garage, how much does it cost?
You guys better get on that tomorrow, because we're running out of days, because she needs 2 weeks on her event request.
So I honestly think we should decide,
It's not even about that. It's like, it's not even about that.
no, it's,
Things under the road for you guys before, I'm just saying, you don't wanna ruin relationships with your partners.
yeah.
Especially in Hamlin.
We've had the cops show up from upstairs in Fine Arts
Cops
before.
aren't.
Eric's car.
For my car crashing, and they talked to me and literally left, and that was it.
They're not skin on there.
But the thing is,
Eric's
Eric,
not gonna show up at 6 PM on a Sunday night.
yeah, Eric, the thing is if parking does roll through and say, holy shit, there are so many unpaid cars
Yeah.
here. I'm either gonna take all you guys, who are you from, what organization, that goes straight to the parking officers to say, hey, these guys did it at this time, this is bad. bad
The more
relations.
that your club gets out there and people recognize that if there's a bunch of cars put together, it might be the WC Car Club, the more you're gonna have issues when somebody does say, oh, this loud car just crashed, that's probably the car club, that's gonna get back to Ian. I just think you don't wanna get into doing that kind of.
Yeah, it's
So
just,
you want us to get on the books and pay for those spots?
Social media is killer.
we could just,
afford those
But it's
spots.
not, yeah.
Eric, we could either, we could just move the lot, or move the meet to another spot too, right? And then we won't have to do anything. If we just move it to a business parking lot, like Shopco.
We can put it under someone else's Popo
These
thing.
always have our
You use Cookie Coco. That's another great example. right?
It's free. PCC just had them talking to me to let people to the top floor. Magically, they never got kicked out and no one cared.
Let's just, hey, I'm not doing anything tomorrow, let's just go parking when you're done with us tomorrow.
Alright, that's fine, I'll do it around 3 to 6.
Yeah, if they want us to pay for stuff, we just go to a business. It's not a big deal.
Alright, end of story, me and Matt Hogue are gonna talk to parking and see if we can't get it confirmed. Eric, bring it in. So Matt and I are going to go to Ian tomorrow to talk to parking to see what we can do. Taylor, I'm gonna have you submit an event request to get it into Ev. Yeah, that's that. I mean, really, all we need to do is make an event request on Facebook, which I'm going to have, Taylor.
Less than 2 weeks out.
Yeah, Taylor Maggio.
It's October 10th, we're doing this October 27th.
Yeah, that gives us 12 days.
Do you need to have 2 weeks on an request?
If you're talking to Ian, then if Ian's fine with it, then it doesn't matter for me. You can turn it in a week before, as long as Ian's already on.
Oh, we had two weeks ago.
No, that's for AWSU. No, that's
Well, mine's
garbage.
still 2 weeks as well, it's just,
Okay.
you guys are doing the legwork on your own, it's not like I have to reach out for you.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I guess we can regroup and actually decide where we're gonna do it when Matt and I talk to Ian tomorrow. So besides that, I kind of want Taylor and Maggio to draft up an event on Facebook to kind of get the ball rolling. Kind of make it general and we'll add to it. Basically, Halloween meet, we want to make sure that the date's up there, the time's up there, location is.
We can't make it a Facebook event if we don't know where we're going.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can make it location TBD and then you just fill it in later.
Exactly. Taylor's already got the fucking dope ass flyer pretty much built out. We just have to put a little bit of information in.
Exactly. So, also printing on flyers, can we do that?
Not in the short time frame.
No.
I don't think we need to.
Yeah,
no.
The people who are gonna come are the people who are already in our
It's
club.
the usual.
If we're sticking to the theme of old style boost meet, then
It's gonna be
there are no
old
flyers.
style, yes.
There is no warning. There is Michael at
Yeah, Taylor, I
Thursday
do
night,
suggest
7 o'clock.
saving those because next year,
And it's
those
somehow
are honestly the most badass projects.
Yeah.
Tons of people.
Yeah. Please, I really wish we could have used them, but the time is
8 minutes.
up. So, moving on to Dad's Weekend, unless anybody has anything else about Halloween week. Perfect. Dad's Weekend. Choose event host.
I know I'll be there for it.
I know I'll be there for it.
I honestly think one of the prizes should be an event host for this.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll be
Because
that.
this is our number 2 event for the year
What day are we
behind
doing?
GC
We're still doing Saturday.
Semester.
Which is the fourth, right?
of the semester.
Yeah, perfect.
And we do it like before the game, right?
That's what I was
So-
saying, I don't think it should be done on Saturday because nobody walks to that area of campus. I walk from Green Crow, I walk from every other possible way to go to a football game and nobody needs out in that area. It's like the dead zone.
That's actually,
That's what I'm saying, why don't we just do it like last year, that was really successful.
And a lot of the dads, I mean,
The dads.
they go to class.
November 4th, though, is that a Saturday?
Yes.
So I guess why, not why.
People won't show up, they'll be tailgating.
Yeah,
They'll be doing stuff.
so the thing is why shouldn't we do it Friday when there's most traffic coming through?
we should do it Friday.
Perfect, let's do it Friday. Friday it is. Let's make sure that goes out. I don't know what day Friday is.
That's
I'm
the
gonna assume
third.
it's the third.
What time?
Yeah.
We gotta
Hey, we
figure out
need
the
that.
time though, too.
Sheet.
If it's gonna be Friday, it's gonna be late.
Isn't the event supposed
be
to
late.
be?
But it's gotta be, because like, what are you gonna put it on 11 o'clock in the
We
morning?
did this last year.
We did
Absolutely, that's when everybody's coming through.
We
You
did
know,
this
this is
at 1
fun.
o'clock last year, yeah.
Or 11 to 2, something like that. Plus sun, right? For the photographers to take all their crazy pictures.
But hey.
Be as late as we can.
We'll talk to Ian tomorrow, we'll just briefly bring it up,
The
because
sun
remember he
is
went
on
through and denied
that
it,
side?
request for Gatsby parking.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
he
go
did.
through and talk to him
What?
about it.
Ian did.
Who denied us?
I thought that's what happened
It was
like
the
2 weeks
scheduling guy
ago.
that did.
Oh,
No.
yeah. Neil did?
Neil denied it,
But then he
Taylor
accepted it.
reserved it, and then he accepted it.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so do we have any other holds on that by chance, do you know?
We're just waiting, maybe for spill kit guy, but.
Yeah, we need a new spill kit.
For
We have
pictures,
de-icer.
do you want the sun behind it or behind you?
I mean, half the pictures, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter because, I mean, I'm not assuming all cars are gonna be facing the same way, are they?
Yeah, they're all gonna be facing away from Beasley Clock Tower, back in against it. Or
Brian.
Brian Clock Tower, yeah.
Okay, preferably sun behind me would probably work good, but if it's in the evening, I can shoot into the sun and that turns really good photos if it's like sunset.
So in the evening, the sun's over there, in the morning, the sun's over here.
Yeah.
So maybe do we make it noon to about 5 because people can come and park their cars for like classes or whatever, and it's really easy.
Oh, but the way we did this last time is there was in-out privileges.
It was pretty much parking, yeah.
People could come park there anytime during the thing. We just had staff working the whole time. And parking had agreed that cars can move for 3 hours.
There you go.
Cars can move as long as a staff member walks with the car and makes sure it doesn't hit people.
Yeah,
3 hours, they should make it 3 hours.
Why would we not make it 5 hours?
I don't, yeah,
And let cars
that's
move.
2 extra hours. This is really an advertising meeting, and it,
All you gotta do is bring your car before your first class, park it, leave it there all day.
Oh, my first class is at 9.
Okay,
let's go on.
well,
I would like to say that obviously we have a couple cars over at ours too, and having longer meet would give us time to get over after classes to make it.
Absolutely.
Because we can't just come here, park, and then go to
Yeah,
class.
yeah, I
We need
guess
to be
it's-
over here and get
I mean,
here.
I guess as long as you're able to and come and go
And
as
the
you
longer-
feel, right?
The longer the meet, the more times dads and people can go look at it, like,
Yeah.
they're walking around through campus after the kids get out of class.
Dads
I don't
get-
get out of class until
Yeah,
5.
dads get to school late, dads get to WSU late because you're coming from the west side.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like-
okay, so 12 to 5.
one of the greatest things that I remember about last year's GC is Hoagie's picture with his dad.
Yeah, that is a good.
And it's dad's weekend.
That's usually
God dang it, I need to go home and go to bed or something, like.
That's where everybody's headed after this, I'll tell you that. All right,
You took a picture last year, like, at dad's weekend, and I thought it was awesome
It
because
was actually.
this gives us a chance to do stuff for students and dads that is not a normal thing.
Yeah.
So,
So 12 to 5 is what we have.
12 to 5. Where are we reserving, or where are we at with reserving? We haven't reserved.
It's, yep, it's scheduled to, I did it.
Date is November 3rd, from 12 to 5. Event/funding request needs to be done as soon as possible, so,
Jane and I can do a funding.
yeah, funding request for whatever you want, shirts, t-shirts, whatever, doesn't matter. I mean, you could honestly, what's up?
We can't do funding requests for shirts and t-shirts.
Too close?
No, we're selling them. We can't get money from ASC to sell.
Wait, so funding request is done or needs to be done?
No, it needs to be done. Because if we, huh? Yep. But if there is, so I need to know like what we need in the funding request. So
I think,
if we're doing a barbecue, we need to, Eugene and I need to get a list of food. We need to.
are we allowed to have a barbecue there?
You just have to do your same food establishment.
Perfect,
And
so I
I'm
don't
not
have
finishing
to.
orders for it now, too, so you're not doing one.
You have to have your fire extinguisher and then just all that stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have to, like, that's
But
what I-
they allow having
you have to
fires
do-
on campus like that.
You have to do that now, like.
Yep.
have- That's
So,
like
do we
3 week
need-
grace period. Temporary food establishment.
What else?
So-
Be another one, we have to get the deals for it.
So are we gonna do food? That's something we need to
We
decide.
should do a
Did we
barbecue.
do food last year?
We did not.
Okay,
But we should have done food, it's like everyone's kind of standing around, if we had food, it would have been good.
Yeah, perfect, so
and
barbecue.
this year we have banners, oh, that's another thing we need for this.
Yeah, banner.
It's not gonna get here in 10 days.
Well, we can get a funding request for it.
We put it back in 3 days. We said it's fine, all this stuff.
We're figuring out right now.
We need a couple banners, we need,
Dad's weekend? or-
Yep. for all of our events, but dad's weekend would be a great place to introduce.
I think we should.
We need a second banner that says AEC on it, just so we can have one at the check-in table and one at the table where we're selling merch. And then we need another banner that says AEC event here today.
Oh, you should do like sandwich board size posters, and then I have a sandwich board you guys can have.
Perfect.
Okay, I think we should also include,
Definitely.
oh,
With food, let's just make it simple, like what we did the end of the year meeting last year.
Hot dogs,
Hot dogs, hamburgers, and just buy just an assorted couple bag of chips
Do
and
we-
some paper products.
Do we want to use the same amount for what we did for the end of the year?
Yes.
I think it's pretty perfect. You know, a lot of people from WSU are gonna be walking through it, students.
So
They're
we
gonna,
already have that estimate of how much we spent.
we should double that.
And that was, what?
I think, because there's gonna be a lot of people walking from campus to and from.
We had 70 cars last time.
Not a lot of,
Yes, we did.
7-0.
Yeah, 7-0.
Yeah.
We had 70 cars at the end of the year.
For what? Oh,
My
end of the
question
year.
is-
So you meant for,
End of the
Do
year.
you guys honestly
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that hungry students are gonna walk through and wanna just sit there and eat hella hot dogs? I would be one of those people who walk through and say, damn, I smell hot dogs, I want hella hot
Are you
dogs.
limiting food to only people
You're
that are
special.
in the economy, or is it food for anyone that can want?
That's
all
right,
stuff
we need
for
to
free,
charge.
okay?
We need to charge.
Dollar.
Or else you're gonna get people who don't even have any interest in cars whatsoever, just.
Because I've just saying, I've gone to events around campus just for the food.
That's what I'm saying, so that's what everybody else.
You don't want people to use up all your.
$1 hot dog, $1 hamburger. You know how much money we will make off of that?
Don't see an issue with that, really.
So dollar.
Dollar hot dog,
Maybe
dollar water.
Where?
Maybe $1 for 2 hot dogs, because hot dogs are stupid.
Dollar for 200.
No, $1's already cheap for hot dogs.
No, I mean,
Consider
$1
like
for
$5
8.
one thing.
I can literally go buy
You're just trying to
$1,
make it better.
buy 8 bucks for $1, 8 hot dogs. I mean,
$1 for a hamburger.
Alright, let's get back on track.
That's
I'm
not
so Matt has the fucking hot dog fetish.
fuck you. I know, I just know numbers when it comes to food, that's all. Sorry about that.
let's keep going.
Okay. Do we want to do any giveaways, raffles, prizes?
So that's what I have. Okay, so since it is Dad's weekend, it's totally Wazoo oriented or whatever. We have that bobblehead that we did not sell at all. We can buy another football.
No,
Yes.
no, no.
Are you kidding me?
No, if we start showing up at football at every event, they're not gonna sell
I
the
know,
same.
but
We're not gonna have that
But-
same
Okay,
prestige.
but,
Yeah, 4
But-
anyways, for personal
but
use.
this is a Wazoo oriented show. We have people coming for Dad's weekend who
Okay.
are diehard Cougs.
Can we do something
who
different?
take
That's
so much
what it's not
Can you
football.
maybe a signed jersey or something?
Or help, or
They do great footballs.
They don't do helmets on your mom?
No. That's.
Can you do like gloves or like?
When you ask at W2 Athletics, I asked them and they say, yeah, you can pay for a football or you can get basketball tickets. So we got both because we pay for the football. They do not offer signed jerseys or signed helmets.
Can we find Mike Leach and make him?
I know how to find a
sign it.
Okay,
Really?
but like,
I'll do it.
Alright, bring it in, guys, we got this.
but with that, because it's gonna be cold and stuff outside, if we do, because you're not gonna wanna do it as a raffle, you're gonna wanna do it as a silent auction again. And we can only do a raffle 2 times a year or whatever. We should have it tabling inside the cup.
What?
I think it all needs to be together.
Have it as tabling inside the cup.
Oh, just so you get more people walking through?
Not only that, it's inside, so people aren't gonna wanna go, right, $35 for the football, and then leave, and then come back somewhere where it's cold to see if somebody else did it, and you can just go in the Cub. People are gonna hang out in the Cub, so they can go back and check their bid. It's just a lot easier to do it that way.
Honestly, you're in charge of the raffle, if that's what you wanna do.
I just think that would be a smart decision.
Instead of having it by the show. Well, and then also, you might get people that might bid on it that aren't even part of the car show, and like, if a bunch of people, like more traffic, you could just get more money from the club, it doesn't matter.
You can table at a time, is my opinion.
You know, I think you might get away with doing it with football only because we have completely different audiences we did for GC.
Yeah.
We
And
didn't know that.
I was posting on
Well,
Die
okay,
Hard
correct.
Think about it.
and people were asking how much the football was going for.
Yeah.
Like, people were
There's a
like,
bunch of-
ah, damn, I wish
Yeah,
I was
there's a
there
bunch
so
of
I could
ads
get that
people are gonna
football.
want.
I talked to my electrical engineering buddy, did attend the show. Isn't interested in cars, didn't even know we're putting on a show. I went and talked to him today. I was like, oh yeah, you're really interested in football. Let me tell you how much it went for. He's like, oh yeah, we're going to $15. I was like, how the fuck did you know that? Like, where did you hear that?
That can be a key advertising point, because that'll bring random people in. Perfect. Get another football. I like that idea.
Do I need Taylor's help?
3 more footballs.
No.
Please. Exactly. Dad's on shift today.
So another thing that got brought up for Dad's Weekend, last year when we did this, we had, registration was free, but you had to RSVP so we know new spots.
Yeah.
We did it through Coopsic, which only opened it up to, WSU alumni, faculty and staff and students.
You're the master of websites, right?
Brings me to the next thing, I think we should probably do registration for this on the website, where you just RSVP on the website.
So another thing we need to bring up is pricing.
I think we run it for free again.
I absolutely think so too.
Why do we need to charge for this?
Yeah, unless we get charged for spots, then maybe we can go $3-4.
No, even if we do, too late, isn't it? Oh, no, it's a month out.
Yes.
Did you have something to
Let's
say?
still do this.
Did you have something to say before people cut you off? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just saw you like starting to like say.
So my question is,
Well,
did we talk to parking, did parking want to charge us for this?
Yes.
How much?
They charge us a blue permit per car.
That is so
A
extreme.
blue day pass.
A blue card is the cheapest pass you can buy.
A blue day pass per car, okay?
So bring that stuff in.
Not crazy expensive, but,
Well, then maybe we should just have this meet be all day if they're gonna do that for us.
yes.
Let's have the actual thing open at 8 in the morning.
The problem is you have to, the thing with parking would be, we have to have a staff member there from 8 to whenever we close, because their agreement was, remember, we have to walk the car in.
I'll totally skip.
I don't have a class on Fridays, but.
And I'll help too. I'll help too. And this doesn't mean we need 10 officers either, it just needs to mean, we need 1 or 2 or 3 available.
Or staff members even, if they're assigned positions. We could schedule that out. So maybe we do it as early as possible, because the more we have our cars out there, the more we get advertised. That means the more people who have no idea we have a car club can actually get.
Yes.
You know, and then it can spread to be like, oh, damn, did you saw those cars out there? What are you talking about? It's like, oh, cars are out in front of this. I'm going, so people can go. That spreads news. Food, everybody, good vibes. That's what we
Last time
want.
we bought 40 passes, blue passes. I printed out 40 sheets of like piece of paper, and you have to put the sheet on their window when they're parked there, and then they're good to go.
I think you lose a couple spots too if you're doing barbecue. Oh, you can.
Nope.
We could have packed so many more cars in there.
Yeah, no, we can, we do. Ronnie is,
that
expert parker, but you couldn't squeeze in a lot of cars.
He definitely squeezed.
We
We
still
still
found
found
five or
those
6
were
open
really
spaces all the way at the end. Nobody just wanted to walk down the hill because they were
Yeah.
all in their little group.
Exactly. So we can park a lot of cars there.
Yeah, I think the number I seem to remember last year was 38 cars. And I think we had room for like 6 or 7 more.
Yeah, so 45. Let's get 45 passes.
Well, you just have to clear that with Ian first.
Yep, absolutely.
And he's gonna wanna see a parking map, so we'll need to go back to our chat and find that one I created a long time ago, and we'll have to submit that to them, because huh? Dude, there's so
No,
many
you
in
can
there.
go, you can click on an image and sort through just images.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can also
no,
see in there,
still,
like-
even just that, we're talking
That's
about like
like
more than
years.
3 weeks.
All right, boys and girls.
So
Yeah,
we're making this
I got
a
another
free
thing
event.
with that too.
We're advertising this for free for everybody. We're gonna have. I know you don't like that, but it's one of those.
It's like $5 a spot.
No,
No, it's the most baller of meat we have that gives people like, oh, well, I guess I didn't pay for Dad's Weekend. I guess I can pay for GC. GC should be a really like go-to pay for big ass event. I mean, really, that's how we can
Yeah,
get
we'll
on
have
that
some
one.
sound auction items that will kind of
No,
cover
that's what I
costs.
think, like, have Rob take some sweet pictures in front of it, Brian, and like sell it for $5, since you're never gonna get that picture again. You can maybe charge them.
That's a good idea.
Get a good picture, get the real sappy picture of like the dad and the son or whatever, the dad and the child in front of the car, in front of Brady.
This still says.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
What's up,
So
Poe?
I got 2 things to note, just to raise my hand further. One thing, we just have to know, as much as like we wanna, I guess, like charge people to cover parking fees and stuff, we realized how cheap students are after GC. Even when we lower the prices, students were like, I don't wanna pay for this, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, as much as it sucks, it's like, it's hard
ASW's
to.
can pay for our parking fees, guys. We don't need to worry about paying for parking.
And then our
We
events
say, we're gonna
Oh,
get
do
this
you wanna
many
start
spots. Cody says, here's the cost. We say, hey, ASWC, we're putting on an event for students. We need these costs covered. They go, okay, cool, have fun.
Yeah, perfect. So, we want,
For that, don't we usually have to try and put in a certain amount from us coming out of our fund?
Yeah, last year we did.
Any help us more? I think it was $1, right?
Last year we didn't, and it was such a small number, it was only a couple $100.
Okay.
They didn't move that much of an eyelash.
So really what we need to have,
Yeah, I have another point. So the other thing is, if we start early in the morning, we need to get more than a couple cars there. So we don't have people, like if everybody starts showing up at like 11 and for 3 hours we have like under 5 cars that are just parked there, people are gonna be like, who are these tools parking on this, like, you know what I mean? It's like,
We'll come to work at 8 AM.
I have school at 8 AM and I will have a permit and if I don't.
So it's like, no,
Are we really making this event at 8 AM? Are we gonna have staff from 8 to 5?
I can't work from 8 to 5. I might be able to work like a little bit, like an afternoon.
Out of class 9 to 10, I mean, I could come directly after 10 o'clock.
And you know,
I
it doesn't
can
mean.
literally skip class and I'll stay all day.
What's wrong with 11 to 5 that our show is
You're doing good.
Please just realize that these blue passes are all day passes.
Yes, we want to take advantage of them as much
I'll
as
just
we
finish
can.
it.
We're gonna
We want to take advantage of
Okay,
it.
but that's logic, we might as well, so that's basically from 8 AM.
That's what we did.
I mean, well, we
Exactly what we did.
We might as well have like spectators for the whole time.
People were there all from when we started to when we ended. It was just we wanted to 4 hours.
Experience.
Yeah, I don't think you wanted to stay there any past 12 hours.
Wait, what? Wait a second.
So yeah, with this, all right, take a vote, or who doesn't want to have the event from 8 to 5?
I feel like 9 to 5.
Just say like.
And my logic here is the passes are all day. If we have people like me and Matt that want to park at 8 AM, we still can.
okay, we can, but it's like,
You just voted against your own.
I did, because I want the official event to be from a certain time to a certain time.
Right.
If it says, okay, use the passes in the morning, let's start getting cars in. Move on.
So what time do you want the official event to be?
12 to 5.
12 to 5.
I'm showing up at.
I'm showing up at 8 in the damn morning to park my car.
What car?
Dang.
You're waking up.
Playing this game's not smart.
Victoria, are you waking up early, going to school early?
No, I'll get there at 9. I'll get there at 9.
Who wants to do the,
I usually get to class 30 minutes early though, so.
the event request, noise variance, and fee permit? It's all just like.
wait, is the event request already done, or do we have to do it once it's?
It is, you just have to edit it to change the dates and add that you include and any other updates.
Perfect, that's pretty much that. Matt, you want to be in charge of that?
You did it.
That means I'll do it.
No,
You want to
anybody
be
who
in
has
charge of
something
changing
I
the date and getting funding or an event request. All right, moving on to, you want to do it, the event request.
Who's supposed to be doing the event request?
Anybody?
Really, these two.
Taylor said she's gonna,
Oh,
God, dang it. Victoria said she's gonna update it.
yeah, I got it. I can
Taylor doesn't
literally
need
do
to
it
do
right now.
Let's just
All right.
stick to
I don't want
everybody's go.
Perfect, so funding request though is gonna be you and Eugene.
Why don't you take care of it?
So with that,
Yeah, Eugene and I'll do it.
we want to have the same amount of food.
But you want to double.
No, that we don't need to double.
Let's do the same amount.
Oh, now that we're selling it, it's not gonna be free for you to get out.
Yeah. Dollar on box.
Say that again?
You can't ask them for it, you can sell it.
Fuck, you're right.
Double it. Double it.
You were.
No, I think selling it is a good idea.
Just sell it. You need to have
That's true.
a quarter of what it costs to make money on it.
I can't
If
remember,
you're working for free, then make money on it.
and I can't remember, I'll have to go back to the funding request and look at how much we asked for food, but I think it's like $200.
Man, we'll sell it. We do dollar hot dogs, dollar hamburgers, dollar water. Done.
Yeah.
Dollar soda maybe too.
So,
And they get free chips.
are you guys saying we don't put that on, what we want on our funding request is gonna be paying for parking, and that's it?
I have the funding
agree. Perfect.
request, I have the banner and parking.
So,
I think you buy the banner out of your own funds. There's
No,
no
I
reason
think-
to request that.
we might as well just be able to get it at this
They buy us
point.
banner ones.
Then you don't think they'll buy us another one?
No, why would they buy us a city banner?
Why not ask for it though?
Yeah, cause they can
Why
get
not
partial
just ask
funding if
for
they're like, no, we don't want it, partial funding right there.
Because
Right?
I think there's something to them shutting us down and going, God dang it, these guys just ask for money nonstop.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to have that opinion of us.
Literally, this frat thing that I was listening to with Taylor and I, yeah, we want $3,000 for one speaker. How many people do you expect to come to your event? 100 people, 200 people. And it's like, $3,000 for a speaker, just a speaker at WSU.
What, yeah, but here.
But like, if we're asking for $250 for a damn event, it's not gonna be that much.
Matt, do you realize where money from frat comes from, pay for stuff like that?
No, this is strictly from ASWSU, this isn't from anybody else, strictly
That's
ASWSU.
from ASWSU to pay for fraternities.
Because that's what SNA fees are.
Yeah.
They're actually asking for a speaker to come to WSU on behalf of the frat. For the
Like,
students.
somebody to come here to come talk to somebody.
Sponsored by Delta Quadruple A.
No, I'm talking like a human to come and speak in front of a bunch of people that give information.
Okay,
Yeah.
something I need for like you guys to understand is we did make money from GC, but we didn't have money to start with. And so now you guys are wanting to literally blow our club funds.
On what?
You're wanting to blow it. We don't need a banner.
Yes,
We don't need one.
We
are
needed
looking
one.
at
We needed one.
at
We needed one at
even
GC.
last week.
Advertising banners.
Like, who is this? Why are there a bunch of cars here?
We have one banner.
We need two banners. We need one at the.
I just don't think you guys are realizing that we don't have that. It was 130.
Hey, we have all officers here, let's take a club vote.
Victoria, we need one at the road. And we
What
need
I am saying is that you guys want to spend money on everything from the club
Hey,
funds.
here.
We don't have the money to spend. If you guys want us to be profitable, you guys don't even want to freaking do fundraising.
There's 9
How many times have we had to do the car wash, and how many people showed up at 11 at that car wash? At 11 at the car wash.
For the very,
No, the one that I did.
Yeah, I got there 45 minutes after you guys do that. And
Cooper
stayed
and I
there.
were the only ones there for a whole hour. We're only doing car wash fundraising. That is the only place we're getting our money. We're not doing Panda Express fundraising. We're not doing staff program fundraising. We're not doing concessions. We're not doing stuff to actually fundraise and get money for our club. We're doing stuff every semester. We're doing 3 things every semester.
remember when we wrote, when we
Yes.
wrote out
But we
everybody's
can't blow our
position,
money
we
and then
wrote
we
saying
don't-
that the treasurer and co-treasurer had the final say with whatever, so it's whatever Victoria says with, if we can't spend our budget, that's.
I'm
Very true.
not trying to like put you guys, I just need you guys to understand that we don't have money.
I think that
$1,000 is not enough money to start a club.
Victoria, I think that this banner is gonna be a return on investment. I think that it's as much important to get the image of AEC out there as it is to fundraise, because if we have a second banner, we can put that at our fundraisers and at our events and things like that. Like, we needed a second banner at GC, we will need a second banner at, Jazz Meeting. And I know we got on you for spending on business cards, and I realize that that's in the same vein as this, because it's an expensive purchase.
We still think the goal is to be profitable. The goal is to make money to fund your next event. Will you
But-
make money to fund your next event? Will you make money to fund your next event?
No, that's not, we made a good chunk of cash from GC. But Victoria is saying we're gonna blow all this money before we even have realized what we have. And
Are we gonna take a vote on this
GC is our only profitable event.
Are we gonna take a vote on this or
Oh, so the thing is,
Take a vote now.
all right, so we're voting for having the banner on the funding request.
Let the man speak before you.
No, we're voting on whether you should buy a banner or not.
Out of club funds.
Yes. That's
Well, then let's make the vote for either banner through ASWSU or out of club funds.
Even if it's partially funded, the worst they can say is no.
Yeah, good question. So let's do out of club funds and out of ASWSU. Who votes for out of ASWSU? Raise your hand.
I am not voting.
Out of club funds.
I say with club, with an exception of that, it's like, even, I get what Eric's saying with you don't want to be asking ASWC for it, but it's like, every time we go to do a funding request, like last year when you guys didn't get approved for stuff, it's because we were asking for like everything, right? Like, we weren't putting in our own money. It's like, now that we have money, why don't we put in, instead of having them pay for the entire thing, instead of us paying for the entire thing, if they're willing to pay for a portion of it,
That's what
is that something we can do where it's like,
You can't.
And they love that.
You can say that, but that's when you were talking to Senate, not the finance committee. Well, the finance committee is a subcommittee of
The
Senate.
only thing just to recognize is if you're planning on making money on the stuff you're asking for, then you can't ask for it. The banner you're not planning on, the only thing I just think is you asked them for it before, and we have negative points there because we never cashed out on the banner that they gave us. And then Taylor had to like backtrack and say, we requested this from here, we like do it from another company because we don't want to get it from this different thing, we want to get it from here, blah, blah, blah. So we kind of took that on us. That's why.
It's also in an entirely different committee though, right?
There's a lot of the same people on it. Well, I don't know, Taylor McGurk, whatever happened to her, she's off of it, but I don't know who else is still there.
You guys voted, and you guys can do whatever you want with that vote. I'm not gonna like contest that.
So really, the only person here who has veto on this is Victoria.
I'm gonna talk to you.
Yeah, I'm with Victoria. People are gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. I personally think having a banner would really increase
The bottom of the line
advertising your name.
The bottom of the line is we had our biggest fundraising event of the year, realistically, which is GC. We didn't make as much as we thought we were gonna make. We still made a lot, we still made a lot.
We made a lot more than we thought.
No, we did not.
We did not.
We did.
We didn't make enough. We didn't sell out of.
You were gonna bring in.
We still, what was our initial car count? What were we hoping we were gonna get?
Like plus
150.
Exactly.
That's what we were going into that event, expecting to get.
We also expected to sell $50 a ticket. We also expected to have more raffle items, and we expected those raffle items to go nuts. We made a good amount of money, but we didn't make as much money as we
The
had.
raffle and silent auction items did go nuts.
All right, better question right now, and this is coming from you and Eugene. We need to know how much we had to spend from this GC event total. We need to have a good count as to how much we have total in our funds so that we can make these decisions. Because right now, I'm pretty sure everybody's thinking, wow, we're really ahead. We made a bunch of money on GC. We have, a couple $1,000. We need to know exact numbers, and right now, I think we need to move on.
Yeah, just right before that, let's just make a budget, let's be smart about it, so if we have $1,200, we don't have to spend all of it, you know what I mean? It's like make a budget, if we put a budget for $200 for this meeting, that's it, this is the last meeting we have at the end of the year.
Perfect. Okay, yeah.
We're not doing that.
So Victoria, what do we have so far for funding requests? What are we going to request for funding for that weekend?
Parking, we're gonna pay for food, and we're gonna do food, we're gonna pay for a banner, we'll ask for a banner, or we'll pay for club funds.
Okay, I think we should ask for it on funding request, and I don't necessarily think we should purchase it with our own money as of now, because like you said, I really do think that it's a good idea we have extra funds.
Would you guys be up for, instead of asking for a banner, asking for one of those pop-up, have you guys seen those? They're tall and they fold down into like a
They have like the stand for them.
And that might give ASWSU a different idea that this isn't a banner, this is a different item. And it's gonna be used for a different purpose than a banner would be used for.
I like those things, like those flag things that like pop up with a pole and
Kind of,
flag.
yeah, so you pull this thing up and you stick a thing in the back of it, and it's got a big vertical image.
That would be really dope. I
And
might be wearing
Aaron's
that
already
one.
designed one, so he.
And so, like, I don't know if there's anywhere around here that could print that, but that, in my opinion, fills a different void than
It
a
also
banner does.
it'll make us look a little more efficient.
Matt, did you hear that? I just said, no, did you didn't write it down?
Poster stuff, did you see that you conference them, they're doing it for ours, so it's gonna be.
What if we restructure what the banner even does? I mean, one banner, yeah, we have it, it advertises our club in general, we get to use it for a lot of different things, but, I get that we don't want to ask for the same thing over again, ask for a lot of things, blah, 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 but what if we re-geared this towards exactly what you're saying, some pop-up style, but what if the banner represents something more of like, that actually talks about, come talk to us about our club, this is what our club does, whatever it may be, it can be simple, short, and sweet, but if it's not a, we want another banner, it's a lot different than, well, we're actually looking for a new part of advertising so we can use it when we have, the Cub events, right? When we have tabling going on, like that's an awesome piece to use. There's a lot of people talking. It's like a lot of people walk up and say like, so what do you guys do? What do you,
That's true.
what do you, what's up with you guys?
I was kind of thinking more along the lines of an AEC event here today kind of banner. But that was the kind of what I was looking for.
But
Do that in San Francisco.
That's how. I was thinking the pop-up style with that.
like, I say we go the route of Kenta now.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
Yeah, I do see that using
Both is
I can get behind
I think
that.
we should go to Kento's route because this is like literally his major and he knows some of that. And,
Well, I don't think that's the way to go about that.
but I mean, how many people came up at the movie meet? I know, I talked to so many people, oh, hey, what's your club? What do you talk about?
Yep.
That right there, on the sidewalk,
That doesn't mean we have good enough advertisement.
Yeah, that's it.
Our banner, whatever we have isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing then.
Well, it's just that
If you
our
see
banner
it-
is not enough.
Yeah, that's what, exactly. That's
but
what
I mean, even that is still going to add advertising to it.
Hey, I got a question for you. So for DC, we were funded by ASWC instead. Is that something that we could put on a banner? Not saying that like we were funded by them, but be like, here's like our previous like partners or something, but like supported by like at some point, like if we got permission by them, because that would draw in more students thinking, hey, they're more of an official club than just, we just started up. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, they have Seb with them. They're probably doing some cool stuff or ASWC's with them.
We just got a note dropped, and I want to get this in as quick as we can because he's already behind on the comments, saying we should look to get a vendor to pay for our banner. In return, they'll get their logo on the banner or something like that.
That's a very good idea.
Who's the most eager vendor we have?
Everything there,
Okay.
I rather really said to do that.
Yeah.
Well, let's
I remember
finesse that plug.
All right, so, yeah, Victoria with the plug on Evergreen
That
Fire
would
banner.
make me happy too, because then we wouldn't have to request a duplicate item
Yeah.
from.
Boom. What a
Perfect. All
awesome
right, so for funding requests, we want all food. We want to get parking. Anything else?
You guys consider putting your stuff in?
Question.
So
I guess not be advertising. What's up? Who had a question?
Both of us.
Yeah, there's.
Are we asking for food or are we selling?
That's what I was gonna say, because if you ask for food, you can't sell it. If you wanna do the dollar hot dog, dollar hamburger, that stuff, I think that might be profitable. I think maybe we should, just, it's not that
You already
price
talked
to
about that.
buy, like honestly, I can buy it.
But he just brought it up about putting in the funding request.
Yeah.
no, we can't.
Well, that's, I already decided on that, where instead of selling it, we're doubling what we were.
Oh,
buying,
you want to
selling it.
So another thing we can do too is instead of doing hot dogs and hamburgers, we can just do hot dogs. Because those things are damn cheap.
Another thing to add to the funding requests, we need marketing media like color printed flyers that we had for GC for Dad's Weekend.
Perfect, yeah.
And that, depending on when this fundraiser or funding request goes in, we're only a month out.
Hey
right
Taylor, do you think you can get Dad's Weekend flyers? Yeah, graphic design?
I'm gonna ask Seth and see if they would be willing to sponsor for that weekend and see if they want to print off flyers.
I think one of the things for Dad's Weekend, we should use the iconic Brian Clock Tower as like a focal point of that flyer. Like the ideas for the design, like focus on the clock tower because that's the big draw of this event.
Maybe we can find a nice picture of one of the clock towers like last Dad's Weekend we had, so we can put that on the flyer. I wouldn't ever see that being an issue or anything.
That's the thing we gotta think about too, is remember, we gotta keep pushing that, we're like, at all these meets and everything we're doing, it shows, we gotta like, don't we have to like be giving, well, I know we do, we have to like how I'm sorry, I'm just tired. So with GC, we promote, like when you guys presented to ASWC and everybody else, you said that like the way that we're bringing in like the students and stuff in the paper, stuff like that, is we're like making like connections and stuff. So are we making like alumni connections between like parents and stuff, like bringing students back? Because I feel like we gotta have some more defining value than
So
this is our annual meet and we all go park our cars there.
They want an educational thing, but I honestly think for GC when we went and presented, but I think that we could use the emotional one of this where it's WSU, it's students and bringing their dads to campus, and it's enhancing the campus culture as a good selling point for this.
So I
So
say we put either something like that in our flyer, or just if we haven't done so in our event request, like pre-edited or whatnot, especially if we're gonna be it, we wanna get set on board with this, just so we don't have, you know what I mean, just sort of proactive about it. So they don't come back and be like, why are you doing this? You know, like, what is the point of your meeting? Or besides, let's just go park our cars up there.
I think
And
we
bring
have a
guys
good
up.
Understanding that for the
culture
event.
Just another resource that know about, there's also student advertising funds available if you wanted to fund market in the Daily Evergreen, like you can get a fat color ad in the Daily Evergreen.
Really?
You just have to apply for it. You have to apply for everything else. So,
So we would-
putting that in the paper the weekend, the Friday that the event's happening for them.
And would you and Taylor like to work on that stuff?
For what?
That.
Perfect.
Well, the newspaper.
Newspaper, because I think I actually have a friend that works for, what is the big local one called again? That, and then what's the second one?
Moscow Pullman Daily News.
I think it's Moscow Pullman Daily
You're
News.
the Facebook too, that'd be.
Do we want to
Well,
start
the
getting Robin
Daily
involved
News
with
is
that stuff?
already
Just
posted us
paying
in
like
the
a month?
reader.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, that's right, they did that, huh?
Yeah, for, strength class.
Do you want to be on social media?
I can do social media.
Okay.
I
We
was
are-
just thinking about that too, because we gotta start, whoever's gonna be taking Kenta's position, we should just start having them foreshadow.
So, yeah, I am leaving that up to Kenta, it's up to him. If you want to work Robin, be my guest. Right now, Rob, what you're doing is basically just, photographer / post social media. But I really don't have an issue with working you into this position and I guess combining those positions, but it's also nice to have two of the kind of same thing, or one's focused on pictures, one's focused on social media, so that if somebody can't come, there's somebody else to take their position.
We'll get together and talk.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's you, all you. Video requests, I think we should submit one of those, so either Kenta or Taylor. I know, Taylor, I'm just saying this because you're up there a lot.
I'm not really familiar with the whole process, but I'd like to learn about it.
Okay, so you can work with Taylor on that. Anything else for Dad's Weekend right now that we can talk about? Anything else that needs to be covered? Yeah, Hoagie and I are gonna go talk.
Go check back in the Facebook chat, and I guarantee you'll have that picture he's
No,
looking for.
yeah, I know where it is.
You know my one that
I
has
can
Google
find
Maps
it,
with
yeah.
a bunch of overlays.
T-shirts and sweatshirts, what, like the ones from,
No, for Dad's Weekend.
yeah,
So we have them, the design is done, and we
Are
put
they
up,
orderable?
we don't want to order them.
No. I mean, are they
I-
orderable right now?
No, they will be tomorrow if we decide as a group right now that the design is fine. Because they have to close the link next week, so we get a week
Jeez,
for them to be in
that's so
there.
tight.
It is, but if we set a low amount, so if we say we're gonna sell 20 sweatshirts or 20 shirts, whatever, and we surpass that, they're gonna keep making them for us. It's not like they cut it off.
You just have to
But
put
if
that
we do not reach that minimum, then we
Gotcha.
don't
They
put
won't
it
allow
up, and that's what happened in Mom's Weekend.
so in other words, you're saying we have a minimum for the shirts and we need to reach that, otherwise it closes.
And the way to cheat that is to just set a low minimum.
Or if that brings the price up, right?
What's the lowest minimum that you set? Because
So-
you can add on for free.
So the way this goes is, so I have on here that we're gonna sell hoodies, crew necks, and t-shirts.
Perfect.
So people can decide whichever one that they want. Now with that, if you put the sweatshirt price, if the sweatshirt price from College Hill is $30, we set however much we wanna bump that price up. So if we bump it up $5, the sweatshirts are $35. That $5 from every sweatshirt sold comes to our club. And so we make that $5 profit off of every sweatshirt or t-shirt, whatever sold. So that's how that would work and how we would get the money.
Excellent, so I guess it's all, I mean, yeah.
And then that's
zero.
why it's better to do this rather than buying them outright, because then we might not sell them all.
Right.
And so we're stuck with,
My only issue I have right now is us trying to advertise both the Halloween meet and Dad's Weekend meet, because there's gonna be a lot of kind of cross-threading going on.
You don't even have to advertise
people
Halloween.
are already putting up Dad's Weekend sweatshirts up, and that's something that we have to compete against.
Yeah.
But with our shirts and stuff, do you want to plug this in so people can see it? Or no?
Desperately.
Do
you have an HDMI?
Yeah, it's right there. With these, they are geared more towards dads. I mean, they're not
I'm
like,
buying one.
they're not like a mom shirt, I guess you would
Well, it's
say.
not, I mean, yeah, dads are not mom.
Like they're
Oh, those are
like,
freaking
and I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
Cool.
and so not only that, but I think
Yeah, I like the yellow AC.
And I think-
Yeah.
and I am taking a price quote from him too, because of course the yellow with the AEC on the front is gonna be more expensive than the white with the AEC on the front.
True. How
With
much?
the starting price, I don't know, I have to ask him
Like
that.
a dollar a shirt more than sports bib. It's like
But,
$5.
It's, I mean,
but the thing with this though is that the price has dropped, kind of. The price has dropped because we don't have our logo on the front, which has the Coop logo on it. But the prices on the back get raised because it says Washington State at the bottom, which we might be able to take off. if we
just take
decide
that
to do
off
that.
if it's gonna lower the cost.
No, because then it's like, it goes back to our banner being too clean. It's like, what is this? It's like, yes, it is Dad's Weekend, but it's like, is it Dad's Weekend at U of I? Is it Dad's Weekend at Spokane? Is it Dad's Weekend at UW?
And but with also having the option to have all three, of course, the hoodie's gonna be more expensive than the crew neck and the t-shirt. But if you don't wanna pay $40 for the hoodie, you can pay $20 for a t-shirt and still be fine. But
Buy both of them.
I'll do it.
I'll
So,
do that then.
what's your question right now you have for us?
I guess, are we good with this? With these designs with RPM logo on the front?
Are these all available? Or do we need to pick one, or are they all gonna be available?
No, we just have to, when we get the prices back, I'll let you guys know what the price difference is between the white and the yellow.
Perfect.
And then, we can decide from there whether or not we want the white or the yellow.
On the front.
And then, once we decide that, and I give them the okay, he's gonna send me the link, and we can start posting up the link on Facebook.
Yeah, the moment I get that link, I guess I know my parents will probably buy some.
And I know I'm sure my mom will buy a sweatshirt for herself.
So perfect. That's not, I think we absolutely need to do that. That's great. Great work.
I know.
All right.
And, but we need to decide right now what our minimum should be.
Set it as low as possible.
Is,
Well, don't we-
why would we not set this to the absolute minimum?
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's,
We need to
yeah,
set
we need
it
to set it the minimum, so it's not like the moms weekend stuff where they don't get ordered because, you know.
That's what I was gonna say, it's 10.
Doesn't that change the price?
No.
For a smaller run, aren't they more expensive, just like everything?
I see what you're saying, like theoretically.
I think
that makes
yes.
it sound
I
like
think that's, I think
No, they just charge
I
you
think-
smaller for whatever price.
I think they
It's
have
charging
that
smaller price.
because it's a buffer if we don't meet the requirement. So if we get like 9, they'll probably have that price, but I don't think they changed the price for it.
But if we said minimum was 50, I bet you they'd say cheaper price per shirt than if we said minimum was 10. That's my question.
But what is the difference? Okay, you have to find.
Well, usually they're like $2 or $3 a shirt. When
But
you,
even
when you're
then-
buying a $12, $13 shirt and you can bring it on 9 or something, it makes a difference. But I want
But
that
even
sweatshirt.
then, what's gonna happen is if they do have a price difference, depending on the quantity, and we sell over that 10, they won't lower the price, but they'll give us more profit from that price.
I really think we
Which
need
I
to just
think
stick
will
with 10
I
because,
think so too.
perfect.
I
10
can't believe
shirts.
they'll make 10 shirts. That would be surprising to me if their minimum was 10 allowed.
But you think you will only sell 10 shirts?
No, I think
No.
they'll
So,
sell.
yeah, let's say,
How many officers do we have?
I mean,
How
yeah,
many will buy a sweatshirt?
probably all 8.
8 times 2, that's 16.
Alright, so,
My dad will buy a shirt.
anything else from that, because everybody wants to go. Tuesday, October 10th, 2017, I don't know what that is for right there.
Oh, it's your header. It's your like page title.
That's what technology matters. That's the
Good job.
magic.
So you got a page header. So it's like,
Just hanging out here. Fundraising / marketing ideas.
We don't have to talk about that now.
Perfect.
What we need.
Find someone for the voice of AEC at events.
so we had like 14 different people on the mic at
Yeah.
GC. I honestly,
Yo, honestly, Brady.
Kenta did a great job.
Brady.
I talked
Um,
5.
Never do it to Eugene again.
I don't mind talking.
Brady.
Brady.
I
Brady, the smooth talkers.
Brady was pretty good. I'd prefer this to be some officer or staff that's basically gonna come to events. And, cause it seems like every single event, like Moving Me, we had somebody talking at Moving Me. GC, we had somebody talking. I
Usually
don't,
it's Eugene.
yeah, but
Why is it always Eugene? It's so bad.
At
what?
He
We stumbled a bunch.
Oh, wait, I
We
just.
had long pauses.
I think, yeah.
Longer intros. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
why
I
do you
think-
And Eugene makes it fun.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have an issue with it being Eugene.
anyways, this doesn't have to be decided today. I just want to bring this as a topic to talk about.
That's a good idea.
I'd like to get somebody, and I think it'd actually be really cool if it was Kenta, because he's already on Snapchat.
Everybody see my face.
He's already kind of the voice on Snapchat.
Yeah.
I didn't think that's.
And then when
Everybody
they
already
transition
sees
to
your face.
maybe Kenta, he can do the
But
voice.
then also, sometimes like Eugene's nervous and he just does it because he doesn't want to let anybody down, but like
Yeah.
sometimes he doesn't even really know what he's
Yeah.
saying.
And I don't think he really wants to.
Brady is the best at pulling shit out of his ass. He can say whatever on
Yeah.
the spot and not stutter and like
Brady did a great job.
make it sound clean. Like in the end, when he was giving a lot of stuff and like announcing stuff to people, like as long as you make it not bring you to it.
Alright. With that, does anybody have anything else to add to any of this? Because it's time to go.
Eugene wanted me to say that, he wanted me to ask about if we want to do a video game tournament this year or aim for that to be next
We
semester.
should do that next semester.
Beginning of next semester to get
I think we
people
still
back
have it in
together.
class, it's really busy right now.
You guys might want to team up with, there's the WSU Log, they do 2 big events a year. They do Winter Wonderland, which is like 140 people that come together. They do big dinner and they bring PC games and stuff like that. They have Smash Bros. Tournaments, they do stuff like that. And then they do another one where they take over the entire senior ballroom and they have like 500 to 1,000 computers, and I usually go for a full like 24 hours and play 5 or 6 systems. Last year I played Rock Band and I played a lot of Arma 3 and Big
It's not like a table.
Yeah, it's weird. I haven't been there, but it sounds
Yeah, it's like ridiculously fast internet.
Ridiculously
They're,
fast.
like, I think they
Hey,
have 10
Maybe
gig,
they can
10
offer-
gig synchronous, so 10 up, 10 down.
What the song?
And they have special fiber lines that run to them for that event.
It's gonna go there, sit down.
Alright, my friends, with that, meetings to do.
Meetings to do.
Done.
What does it do?
You try fucking being a goddamn thing.
Hey.
What?
Hey,
Whatever
car you get RPF ones? Yeah, he is.
That's what I said to Snapchat today, actually. And I said,
Bye,
"Guys, this is
man.
Toyota pickup."